Chapter 439. Co sure laughed. She covered her mouth as she laughed. Her laughter was as clear as jade beads, pleasing to the ears. Lu Yurong shook her head and laughed. Consort Lu glared at Sun Ida and then looked at Zhao Jianghe. Zhao Jianghe remained silent. Oh, so you're not here to invite Chu Li. You're here to capture Chu Li and use the excuse of helping to trick him. Co sure kept her smile and said coldly, All right, go ahead and capture him. I know where he is, but I won't tell you. Are you going to capture me for interrogation as well? Why not? Sun Ida scoffed. How dare you? Consort Lu said coldly. Who gave you the right to be so presumptuous? Consort Lu, this is related to the Holy Church of Light. We have no choice. Sun Ida said loudly. If we've offended you, please forgive us. Consort Lu said coldly. Chu Li has saved so many Imperial Princes' lives. Not only are you not grateful, but you also hate him out of jealousy. Is this how you secret guardians do things? He is suspicious, Sun Ida said in a low voice. Consort Lu said, If that's the case, you're going to capture Consort Co for interrogation? If Consort Co doesn't tell us where Chu Li is hiding, we won't hold back. Sun Ida said loudly and closed fists saluted. For the safety of the Imperial Princes, this is the only way. You keep talking about the safety of the Imperial Princes. How pretentious, Consort Lu said coldly, as if the Imperial Princes are more important than the consort. Without the consort, there wouldn't be any Imperial Princes. Sun Ida said, Consort Lu, I can't agree with you. Shut up, Co sure said coldly. Sun Ida squinted his eyes and a fierce light flashed. Co sure looked at Consort Lu. Sister Lu, Chu Li is a disciple of the Holy Church of Light, and he is a scribe of the House of High Duke and the head chief of the Imperial Residence. These two families are suspected of colluding with the Holy Church of Light. The secret guardians of the Imperial House are so powerful. They can just open their mouths, and they can pin such a crime on us. Could it be the Emperor's idea? I want to enter the palace to meet the Emperor. Sister Xiao, Princess Lu hesitated. Co sure said, I want to ask the Emperor in person, what are the secret guardians of the Imperial House? They can casually convict a rank, 1, convict the public house, and convict the Imperial House. Is this the Emperor's idea? Is he trying to destroy the Imperial House and our public house? It seems like the Emperor has given you too much power. Princess Lu looked at Sun Ida and said, Then let's enter the palace together and meet the Emperor. I will be your witness. Thank you, Sister Lu, Xiao sure said. Wait, Sun Ida said in a deep voice. Princess Xiao, you can't leave. Where are the protectors? Xiao sure asked. Yes. In Wuchio's voice came from outside the door. Princess, please give me your orders. Come, capture them and cripple their martial arts. Xiao sure ordered. Yes, In Wuchio replied. How dare you? Sun Ida's eyes widened. He looked like he was about to pounce on her. He shouted, Princess Xiao, don't you dare be so arrogant. This is not your public house. This is not the public house. This is the Imperial House. Xiao sure said, How dare you be so arrogant? Cripple him. If he resists, just kill him. Yes, Princess. In Wuchio shouted. Princess Xiao, how dare you be so lawless? Sun Ida shouted. We are the secret guardians of the Imperial House. How dare you punish us as you wish? He did not believe that Xiao sure would dare to kill him. No matter how brave she was, she would not dare to do so. So what if I punish him today? Xiao sure said. The Emperor's punishment is just a few words of reprimand. I will risk the reprimand and kill all of you first. If not, anyone would dare to come to my Imperial House and cause trouble. In Wuchio had brought 6 people in, including Lu Xing, Xiang Feishue, and Hu Hao. 2 of them stood in front of Xiao Sure to guard against Sun Ida and Zhao Jianghe. The other 4 surrounded Sun Ida. Zhao Jianghe saw that the situation was not good. If this continued, he would be in trouble. He laughed and waved his hand. Wait, it's all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. In Wuchio looked at Xiao Sure. Xiao Sure waved her hand and scoffed. What are you standing there for? Do I need to repeat myself? Yes. In Wuchio said. Xiao Shi said, if they dare to resist, just kill them. Don't care what they say. Yes, princess. In Wuchio said. Xiao Shi turned her head and said, Sister Lu, there's nothing to see with all this fighting. Let's go inside the house. We don't want to be stained with blood. All right. Princess Lu nodded slowly. She looked at the 6 people who had already started fighting. She did not expect Xiao Shi to be so daring to kill the secret guardians of the imperial house. If that happened, things would get out of hand. The secret guardians of the imperial house had a high status. It would be inappropriate to kill them. After entering the house, Princess Lu asked, Are we really going to kill them? So be it. Xiao Shi smiled. What are you worried about, Sister Lu? They're the secret guardians of the imperial house. They're the emperor's personal protectors. Princess Lu shook her head. We can't go overboard. That's why they are so arrogant and arrogant. Xiao Shi said, It's time to remind them. Sigh. Princess Lu shook her head and sighed. Sister Xiao Shi, your identity is very sensitive. You have to be more cautious. Xiao Shi was not only the princess of Qingyan, but she was also the second lady of the public house. This identity would make everything different. Cautious about what? Xiao Shi said, The more cautious I am, the more guilty I will be. I will do what I have to do. If I have to swallow my anger when people bully me, what's the point of being a princess? You? Princess Lu shook her head and smiled bitterly. She liked Xiao Shi's straightforward personality. She was not like the other women who would think too much. It was hard to get along with her. When she was with Xiao Shi, she would say anything she was unhappy about. That way, she would not keep in her heart. She would not know when it would explode. Princess Xiao. Zhao Jiang's voice rang. We mean no harm. Xiao Sun's words were just nonsense. Princess Xiao, please don't take it to heart. Xiao Shi looked at Princess Lu and shook her head. These are the secret guardians of the imperial house. They have guts. Princess Xiao, if you really dare to kill me, be careful of the house of high dukes. Sun Ida shouted. Xiao Shi was calm as usual. She said, In Wuchio, where are your abilities? You can't even take care of 2 people. I don't want to listen to their nonsense anymore. Yes, princess. In Wuchio quickly replied. Xiao Shi, you will die a horrible death. Sun Ida shouted. The emperor will avenge us. Xiao Shi shook her head. These protectors are useless. Princess Lu was restless. Xiao Shi was serious. If she really killed the secret guardians of the imperial house, things would get out of hand. Bang bang. 2 muffled sounds were heard, and then silence. In Wuchio's voice was heard from outside. Princess, the 2 of them have surrendered. Xiao Shi said, Let Chief Zhu send the corpses to the magistrate. Tell him that the secret guardians of the imperial house wanted to assassinate the emperor. Yes, In Wuchio replied respectfully. His footsteps quickly retreated. Chapter 440. Consort Lu sighed. Are we really going to kill them just like that? She still felt that it was unreal and unbelievable. Xiao Shi said, Sister Lu, let's go out and take a look. Forget it. Consort Lu hesitated. Let's go. Xiao Shi pulled her hand, and the 2 of them left the house. Lu Yurong and the other ladies followed behind. In Wuchio and the others were carrying Zhao Jianghe and Sun Ida's bodies and were preparing to leave. When they saw them coming out, they immediately stopped. Xiao Shi said, Are they really dead? In Wuchio closed fists saluted. Princess, I have confirmed they are really dead. They can't come back to life, right? Xiao Shi said. She pulled Consort Lu to the front of the 2 corpses and lowered her head to look at the 2 who had died. Their eyes were still wide open, revealing anger and unwillingness. They died with their eyes wide open. They did not expect Xiao Shi to really dare to kill them. In Wuchio said, Even if they take the spirit blessing pill, they won't come back to life. Don't worry, princess. Yes, if it was Chu Li, he would have cut their heads off. Xiao Shi nodded and said, I can't stand to see such bloodshed. Forget it. Anyway, think of a way. Don't let them come back to life. Yes. In Wuchio thought for a while. Let's wait for another hour and then bring them to the governor of the fairies' capital. No one can save them then. Very well. Xiao Shi nodded and waved her hand. All right, go. I will take my leave. In Wuchio closed fists, saluted, and left with the others. Seeing the corpse with his own eyes, the arrogant son, Ida, completely shut his mouth. Without a life, he couldn't make a sound, couldn't say a word. No matter how arrogant he was, he lost his life just like that. Just thinking about it made people sigh inexplicably. Consort Lu finally had a sense of reality. She was convinced that Sun Ida and Zhao Jianghe were really dead. She suddenly felt that she had wasted all these years. She did not understand the power of the princess at all. She had never used this power before. The princess and her being a lady at home were really different. However, when he thought about it, even if he knew about it, he would not have been able to harden his heart and give the order to kill. Co. Shi was indeed from the house of High Dukes. Killing people was like a small matter to her. Her expression did not change at all. Thinking about his niece, she was the same. Killing a person was easier than killing an ant. She didn't treat human life as human life at all. She shook her head. She really didn't have the ability to be this kind of princess. Lu Yurong shook her head. Xiao Shi said, Lady Lu, what do you think? You're in big trouble, Lu Yurong said. Co. Shi smiled faintly. This is trouble? That's true. Lu Yurong could not help but laugh. To you, these are really nothing. Regardless of Co. Shi's identity, whether she was the princess of King En or the second lady of the House of High Dukes, killing 2 secret guardians of the imperial house was not a big deal. At most, the emperor would reprimand her a little. The outsiders were afraid of the secret guardians because of the emperor. If they were not afraid of the emperor, why would they be afraid of the secret guardians? No matter how ruthless the emperor was, Co. Shi was still his daughter-in-law. As long as she did not commit the crime of treason, he would not kill her. No matter how dissatisfied he was, he would not kill the lady of the House of High Dukes. Co. Shi said, I want to enter the palace to see the emperor. I want to ask him what the emperor meant by this. You still want to make it big? Lu Yurong said. Co. Shi scoffed. This is all forced by others. She hated the secret guardians of the imperial house to the core. They dared to frame Chu Li and wanted to kill him. If she did not make a scene, they would think that she, the lady of the House of High Dukes, was just a decoration. She wanted to embarrass the secret guardians of the imperial house and embarrass the emperor. She wanted to see who else dared to mess around. Lu Yurong looked at her with a faint smile. They attacked Chu Li. Did they provoke you to kill him? You're really good to Chu Li. Of course. Co. Shi stared back, unwilling to be outdone. There was an undercurrent between the two of them. The ladies around them could feel it. Chu Li suddenly appeared at the entrance of Tianshu courtyard. He stepped into the courtyard and closed fists saluted to Princess Lu. He smiled. Thank you, Princess. Princess Lu shook her head lightly. Not much help. Chu Li smiled and said, With Consort Lu here, at least there's a witness, in case these secret guardians from the imperial house go back on their word. If the emperor asks, I will answer truthfully. Princess Lu said slowly. At first, she was worried about the secret guardians of the imperial house and felt that she shouldn't provoke them. Now that Co. Shi didn't care about them at all and killed them without hesitation, she suddenly felt that she had been too careful in the past. There was no need for that. She thought it through. As the princess and the emperor's daughter-in-law, the secret guardians of the imperial house were nothing. Chu Li gave a fist salute and thanked him. Lu Yurong retracted her gaze from Co. Shi and looked at Chu Li. Chu Li, that was a good plan. You let second Lady Co. take the lead. Only you would do such a thing. Anyone who claimed to be a man would not let a woman rush in front of him and shield him from disaster. Chu Li, on the other hand, hid himself to watch the show and let the Ji dynasty's most beautiful woman take the lead to deal with the imperial house secret guardians. Chu Li said, I'm going to deal with them. There'll be a lot of trouble. He didn't think that Co. Shi would really kill them. He only wanted Co. Shi to send them away. He understood that the two of them were digging their own graves and wanted to frame him with a crime. Otherwise, Co. Shi could have just mocked them and chased them out of the imperial house. She wouldn't have killed them. Aren't you afraid that people will say that you rely on a woman to protect you? Lu Yurong smiled faintly and said sarcastically. Chu Li said, let them say what they want. Anyway, they're dead. Are the Imperial House secret guardians going to swallow their anger? Lu Yurong scoffed. They can't deal with Second Lady Co, but they can deal with you. That depends on who's more skilled, Chu Li said. Co, sure, said lightly. If they dare to enter the Imperial House, I dare to kill them. Lu Yurong shook her head and sighed. Co Shure's method was simple and crude, but it was effective. Co Shure, accompanied by Princess Lu, left the Imperial House under the protection of the Protectors. Chu Li couldn't follow them openly. After all, he used the excuse of cultivating in isolation. If he appeared again, it would be too obvious. The Imperial House was not far from the Imperial House. It was about a mile away, and the carriage arrived quickly. Chu Li acted as the coachman and wore a bamboo hat to cover his face. The carriage stopped in front of a huge palace gate. The vermilion wall was 10 meters tall. The palace gate was wide and big enough for 2 carriages to walk side by side. The palace gate was black like it was made of wood. When he got close, the long sword on his body wanted to fly out. The palace gate had a strong magnetic force. Any weapon made of metal would not be able to enter. The Imperial House of King Jing had Princess Lu, Lung Ying, and Lu Yurong. The Imperial House of King and had Co Shure, Song Luiying, Xuan Yu, Lung Qiu, and Lung Qing. A group of women stood in front of the palace gate. A servant ran to pass the message. According to the rules, they should inform the Empress and Empress Dowager before they could enter the palace. However, they stood outside the palace and waited. The Empress and Empress Dowager could not reject them. It would hurt their reputation, and they would eventually agree. Soon, a chief of the Imperial House rushed over to welcome them. He smiled and carefully led them in. Chu Li and the group of protectors stayed outside the Imperial House and could not enter. Chu Li sat in the carriage and wore a bamboo hat to cover his face. He looked at the tall vermilion wall, and the situation in the Imperial House flashed in his mind. Chapter 441. Chu Li realized that there weren't as many guards as he had imagined. He had thought that the Forbidden Palace would be heavily guarded and filled with countless top-notch experts. It would be a dangerous place where not even a fly would be able to enter. Now that he saw it, he realized that the guards in the outer layer of the Forbidden Palace were similar to those in the prince's mansion. It was only closer to the Empress and Empress Dowager's palace that the guards started to tighten. He saw more than 10 top-notch grandmasters. These experts were mostly hidden in the dark, either in the pavilions or in the corners of the walls. When the palace maids and servants walked past, they couldn't discover the existence of these experts. Chu Li nodded to himself, as expected of the Imperial House. Although the security was not as strict, it was still not comparable to the average Imperial residence. These grandmasters were far more powerful than the grandmasters of the average Imperial residence. He saw the Empress and the Empress Dowager. The Empress looked like she was in her 30s and had a pretty face. She paled in comparison to Co Shure and the others. The Empress Dowager looked like she was in her 40s and still had her charm. When they saw Co Shure, they kept sizing her up. Chu Li activated the omniscient mirror to its limit to see what they were thinking. The Empress was very satisfied, looking at such a beautiful daughter-in-law. And this marriage was her masterpiece. Her heart was filled with an indescribable sense of accomplishment. The Empress Dowager was satisfied as well. Co Shure looked dignified, beautiful, and gentle. It was obvious that she was a good wife. Marrying her would be a blessing. Chu Li slowly withdrew the omniscient mirror. The Emperor wasn't within 5 miles, so he couldn't see it. He secretly rejoiced. He did not want to meet the Emperor rashly before he found out what kind of abilities a celestial god had. He did not want to expose his own abilities. Currently, he could not even withstand a single blow from the Emperor. He put away the omniscient mirror and closed his eyes to rest. This time, he was only leading the way. What happened next was Co Shure's own idea. She came to the palace to meet the Emperor and question the actions of the secret guardians of the Imperial House. It could be said that she wanted to gain the upper hand by striking first and fiercely. She wanted to win by surprise and defeat the secret guardians of the Imperial House. Co Shure's methods were not something an ordinary woman could do. After this, the secret guardians of the Imperial House would not dare to enter the imperial residence of King anymore. 2 hours later, Chu Li's ears suddenly twitched, and he looked towards the palace gate. Under Consort Lu and Co. Shi's lead, the ladies walked out of the palace door. Co. Shi entered the carriage with the help of Shui Ling and Yang Su. Chu Li was just about to whip the carriage when Lu Yurong came over and looked at him with a faint smile. Chu Li knew that she had recognized him, so he lifted his bamboo hat to look at her. Lu Yurong's eyes were as clear as autumn water. She looked at his face and smiled. "Congratulations, the new secret guardian of the imperial house." Chu Li was stunned. Lu Yurong was still wearing a veil that covered her beautiful face. The smile on her face could be seen through her bright eyes. "From today onwards, you will be a secret guardian of the imperial house. You can do whatever you want. Don't you think that's worth congratulating?" "What's going on?" Chu Li frowned. Lu Yurong smiled and said, "The emperor is indeed the emperor. He changed your identity to a secret guardian from the imperial house, so that no secret guardian from the imperial house will trouble you again." "This is compensation?" Chu Li scoffed. Lu Yurong smiled and said, "Becoming a secret guardian of the imperial house will bring you many benefits." Chu Li shook his head. These benefits were hard to come by for others. Rare spirit medicine, secret manuals, but to Chu Li, they were not that precious. He did not lack these things. What he lacked was the opportunity to cultivate the heavenly demonic power. "The imperial house has a rich collection of books," Lu Yurong said. Chu Li's eyes lit up. Lu Yurong pursed her lips and smiled. Co. Shi's gentle voice came from the carriage. "Aren't we leaving?" "I'm leaving now," Chu Li quickly said. Lu Yurong glanced at the carriage and scoffed. "I didn't know that Second Lady Co. Shi was so powerful. Hurry up, don't let her wait too long." She turned around and went to the other carriage after she said that. Chu Li whipped the carriage to move forward slowly. Co. Shi did not say a word in the carriage. Chu Li did not speak either. He wore the bamboo hat and acted as the coachman, all the way back to the imperial residence of Kingen. The ladies dispersed and went back to their own courtyards. There were only Chu Li and Co. Shi in the Tianshu courtyard. Yang Su and Shui Ling had left. The lanterns were lit, and the Tianshu courtyard was as bright as day. Co. Shi sat by the stone table under the peach tree. The light shone on her face and made her look gentle like white jade. Her eyes were deep and seductive. "The emperor is really cunning." She slowly put down the teacup and sighed. "He's taking revenge." Chu Li nodded. Being a secret guardian of the imperial house was a step to success for others. But for Chu Li, it was a restriction. "But there are benefits to being a secret guardian of the imperial house," Co. Shi said. "You'll have less trouble. It's like a protective talisman." Chu Li asked, "Is the emperor serious about this? Or is it just a title?" "It should be true." Co. Shi frowned. "I've already told the emperor that you're busy and can't leave. The emperor said that you can just hold on to it. You don't have to go to the secret guardian hall every day. If you have something to do, you can just stay in the imperial residence. The emperor is really considerate." Chu Li scoffed. Co. Shi said, "I think he's troubled by the Holy Church of Light. He'll let you deal with them." "The Holy Church of Light." Chu Li sighed. "It's best not to provoke them." The High Duke's public house had killed many masters of the martial arts world and was seen as a thorn in the side of the martial arts world. The people of the martial arts world were very hot-blooded and would often risk their lives to assassinate. But these hot-blooded people were not the same as the Holy Church of Light. The assassinations of martial arts masters were rare, hot-blooded people. They would occasionally erupt when they were impulsive. The Holy Church of Light, on the other hand, treated assassinations as a happy event. It was the happiest thing. They were no different from lunatics. If they really offended the Holy Church of Light, there would be endless assassinations. To deal with these people, if you killed them, they would be happy. The biggest threat of death did not exist, so there was nothing for them to worry about. Co. Shi said, "You've already provoked them. Let's see how they react." Chu Li pondered. "If they stop for a bit, I won't go too far. If they want to take revenge, then I'll have to fight them to the end." "Then are you going to the secret guardian's hall?" Co. Shi said. "Are you going to accept this task? If you don't, the emperor won't do anything to you." Just find an excuse to reject it. Chu Li said, since the emperor has spoken, then I can only accept it. You have to be careful. Co Shi scoffed. They will definitely try to harm you to avenge those two people. Chu Li smiled. Let's see what they have up their sleeves. Co Shi rolled her eyes at him and did not say anything else. Chu Li was not afraid of anyone when it came to tactics and conspiracies. Chu Li smiled. I'm also quite curious about what the secret Guardians Hall is like. If they cross the line, just be ruthless. Co Shi said. Chu Li smiled and nodded. The secret guardians of the Imperial House were not best in martial arts, but in intelligence, which was what he lacked the most. The Public House's intelligence was considered good in the country, but outside of the Chongming Road, it was far behind. Even if he had arranged all kinds of secret chess pieces, compared to the huge Ji dynasty, it was still like throwing a stone into the sea. Chapter 442. As the two of them were talking, Shue's voice came from outside. Master, lady, the eunuchs from the palace are here. What's the matter? Co Shi asked. Shue said, he's here to deliver a waist tag to you. Just ask him to put down the waist tag, Co Shi said. Yes, Shue replied and left. Co Shi scoffed. He can't wait, as if he's afraid that you'll regret it. Chu Li smiled. This means that the emperor values me. Everyone is up to no good. Co Shi rolled her eyes at him. With this waist tag, you can enter the palace directly. Chu Li raised his eyebrows. Co Shi said, you can even use this waist tag to meet the emperor directly. The emperor? Chu Li pondered. What does he look like? As he spoke, he activated the omniscient mirror and looked at the scene in Co Shi's mind. Suddenly, a handsome middle-aged man appeared in front of him. His face was filled with a gentle smile, and he was friendly and easygoing. Chu Li was deep in thought. The emperor looked like a normal person who did not know martial arts, similar to him. Could it be that he was like him, using the void as his dantian? Co Shi pouted and scoffed. The emperor? One look, and I know he's a hypocrite. Hypocrite? Chu Li laughed. Co Shi scoffed. He's definitely not a good person. Chu Li nodded. To the emperor, there's no difference between a good person and a bad person. Light footsteps could be heard. Shue walked in and handed Chu Li a small purple box with both hands. It was about the size of a jewelry box, and it was shiny. Chu Li took it and opened it. Inside was a palm-sized black round tag. He took it out and looked at it carefully. The round tag in his hand was light, as if it was nothing. It was lighter than wood, like a feather. There were a few small words carved on the front, Secret Guardian Chu. On the other side, there was a mountain carved. At first glance, it looked like it was only carved a few times. The knife was simple, but upon closer inspection, the mountain seemed to be emitting an inexplicable aura. The more he looked, the closer he felt to the mountain. As he looked further, the mountain became towering, covering the sky and the sun. It was slowly falling down, about to crush him. At this moment, anyone with a little bit of rationality would throw away the waist tag and run away. Chu Li squinted his eyes and carefully sensed the mighty force coming from the waist tag. Is there something strange about this waist tag? Co Shi saw him staring at it and asked curiously. Chu Li took the waist tag away and shook his head with a smile. I wonder which master made this. It seems to have been carved by the emperor himself. Xiao Shi said, it's to show that we value the secret guardians of the Imperial House. It's also a warning to them. Oh, it's your turn now. I see. Chu Li nodded slowly. From the looks of it, it was just as he had expected. An enlightened master's spiritual energy was extraordinary, far surpassing that of a grandmaster. What's so strange about it? Xiao Shi reached out and snatched it from his hand. Chu Li looked at her with a smile. Co Shi took a few glances at it and flipped it around. In the end, she shook her head. It's just a black and swarthy sign. What's there to look at? Chu Li smiled. Stare at that mountain for a while. Co Shi flipped the waist tag and stared at it for a while. After a few breaths, she raised her head. What's so strange about it? His technique is very ordinary, much worse than yours. She was still thinking about the elusive ninth heaven made in jade statue that Chu Li carved. It was truly a masterpiece. This mountain was only a few strokes. Although it vaguely looked like it, it was much worse than Chu Li's. The key is not the technique, it's the force. Chu Li said, I'm not as good as you. Co sure scoffed, what force? Chu Li smiled. He understood that the mountain's force needed someone to trigger it. The stronger the person, the more they would be able to feel it. It was similar to a formation. Co sure tossed the tag to him, keep it well. This is not an ordinary tag. Chu Li smiled. The secret guardians of the Imperial House only recognize the tag, but not the person. Is that true? That's what they say. Co sure scoffed. If a stranger holds a familiar person's waist tag, would the secret guardians of the Imperial House treat him as the familiar person? Chu Li said, that's true. If I bring this tag to the secret guardians' hall, they won't take the chance to kill me, right? Co sure pursed her lips and smiled. Are you afraid? I think it's interesting. Let's see how they will react. Chu Li smiled. The more arrogant a person is, the dumber he will become. Co sure chuckled. Don't underestimate the stupidity of the secret guardians of the Imperial House. They could really do something like that. It's better to be careful. Chu Li nodded and smiled. I can't wait to go and have a look. The next morning, Chu Li finished his cultivation and left the Imperial residence. He walked along the street to the west and arrived in front of a residence. Most of the wealthy people in the fairies' capital were gathered here. The residences were a few rows deep. The residences were deep, and the courtyards were imposing. The residence in front of Chu Li looked no different from the residences around it. It was a tall gate with a red lacquer door and shiny copper nails. There were two protectors at the door. They were both young men in their 20s. They stood with their hands on their swords. When Chu Li got closer, the two of them took a step forward and stared at him. Who are you? This is not a place to trespass. Chu Li took out his waist tag and tossed it to one of them. The round-faced young man unsheathed his sword and used it to pick up the waist tag. The body of a knife was attached to the waist tag as he brought it closer to Chu Li. After a few careful glances, he sheathed the knife and took the waist tag. He held it in his hands and looked at Chu Li from head to toe. He scoffed in disdain. Are you the new Chu Li? Chu Li looked at him and said calmly, I am Chu Li. The waist tag is real, right? It's real, the round-faced young man said coldly. I heard you're very powerful. Are you rank 1? Chu Li said, yes. The round-faced young man chuckled. No matter how high your rank is, once you join the secret guardians of the Imperial House, you have to start from scratch. You're a new guy, not a rank 1. Do you understand? Chu Li smiled. The secret guardians of the Imperial House have such a rule? That's right. The round-faced young man scoffed. Listen, my surname is Dong. My name is Dong Qifei. This is Yang Zhongwen. They are both your seniors. Dong Qifei. Chu Li nodded slightly. Dong Qifei scoffed. Do you know what's the first thing a new guy has to do? Chu Li said, I'm all ears. Stand guard here. Dong Qifei pointed at his feet. Let's do it this way. You don't have to go in. Just stand here. I'll go in and inform you. Consider a roll call. Chu Li smiled. Dong Qifei frowned. What are you smiling at? Yang Zhongwen, who had been silent all this while, had a long face and a slender figure. He shook his head and said, Elder Dong, don't go overboard. Let him go in and see the commander first. See what commander? Dong Qifei scoffed. The commander doesn't want to see him at all. Yang Zhongwen said, it's up to the commander whether he wants to see him or not. We can't decide on our own. Elder Yang, you're such a good guy. Dong Qifei stared at him unhappily and scoffed. I don't believe that I can't even handle a new guy. How can I stay in the secret guardian's hall? Chu Li smiled. Who ordered you to do this? He thought it was ridiculous. How could he use such a cheap and shallow trick? He was speechless and could only laugh. Yo, what a big tone. Dong Qifei laughed. You sound like the commander. Chu Li sized him up. Chapter 443. Chu Li suddenly laughed out loud. Dong Qifei yelled angrily. What are you laughing at? Chu Li could not stop laughing. Shut up. Dong Qifei was furious. You are not allowed to make noise in front of the secret house. Otherwise, you will be killed. Chu Li suddenly stopped laughing and his face darkened. Dong Qifei, who do you think you are? You. Dong Qifei's face turned red and stared at him. What did you say? Chu Li said lightly. I said, Dong Qifei, who do you think you are? How dare you? Dong Qifei roared and pulled out his knife. Are you rebelling? Chu Li smiled. If you dare to make a move, I will cripple you. Let's see who can speak for you. What a big tone. Dong Qifei held the handle of his knife tightly. His veins were bulging, and he wanted to cut Chu Li in half. Chu Li said lightly, You are just a newcomer in the secret Guardian's Hall, and you dare to be so arrogant. Who are you relying on? Yang Zongwen frowned and looked at him. Brother Chu, forget it. Don't lower yourself to his level. He was just joking. Quickly enter the house and see the commander. No hurry. Chu Li waved his hand and looked at Dong Qifei. Newcomers' rules? Who set the rules? Let him come and talk to me. Why didn't I know that the secret Guardian's Hall has such rules? Who do you think you are? Why do you know the secret Guardian's Hall's rules? Dong Qifei scoffed. Chu Li said, Move. Dong Qifei stood in front of him and stared at him coldly. Chu Li said calmly, After seeing the waist tag, if you block my way again and cause trouble, don't blame me for being merciless. I will cripple you, and then I will tell the commander that I was joking and accidentally hit you too hard. All right. Yang Zongwen quickly pulled Dong Qifei away. He could see that Dong Qifei could not back down and needed a way out. Chu Li was a newcomer in the secret Guardian's Hall, but his rank was too high and his status was extraordinary. No matter how powerful the secret Guardian's Hall was, they could not treat him as a newcomer. Dong Qifei wanted to bully a newcomer, but he misjudged. This chief steward, Chu, truly lived up to his reputation. He was tough, domineering, and unreasonable. Chu Li's identity was enough to suppress Dong Qifei. If he really wanted to teach Dong Qifei a lesson, Chu Li would not be able to reason with him. More importantly, Chu Li's martial arts were tyrannical. Dong Qifei was no match for him. In the secret Guardian's Hall, the first thing to look at was the rank of a person, and the second was the size of their fist. Chu Li looked at Dong Qifei and shook his head. You're really stupid. I'm going to kill you. Dong Qifei roared angrily. He bypassed Yang Zongwen and rushed towards Chu Li. The gleam of his blade was like a waterfall. Bam! Dong Qifei suddenly flew out a meter away from Chu Li and slammed into the red lacquer door. Pong! The vermilion door trembled, and immediately after, the door opened. Immediately, four middle-aged men rushed out. When they saw Dong Qifei vomiting blood on the doorstep, their expressions changed, and they rushed towards Chu Li. Chu Li retracted his fist and looked at the four of them. Yang Zongwen hurriedly shouted, It's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. Everyone, don't fight. Chu Li looked down at Dong Qifei and shook his head. You want to stand out like this? You're not smart, and your martial arts are not good either. You overestimate yourself. Dong Qifei's face turned red, and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He was angry and in pain. His internal organs felt like they were being cut by knives, cut by cut. The pain was unbearable, and he had to endure it to not scream. This Chu Li was too cunning. Who are you? A middle-aged man asked in a deep voice. Chu Li took out his waist tag and threw it to him. Chu Li? The middle-aged man scoffed. Chu Li closed fists saluted. That's me. Very good, very good. The middle-aged man sneered. You beat up your colleague the moment you came in. You really live up to your reputation. Chu Li laughed. You guys hid behind the door and heard everything clearly. After watching the show for half a day, you should know who's right and who's wrong. But you want to distort the truth and put the blame on others. Is this the tradition of the secret guardians of the Imperial House? The middle-aged man frowned and scoffed. Did you go to see the commander? They had cultivated the aura concealment technique. Normal masters would not be able to detect them, even if they came close. Chu Li could hear them behind the door. His martial arts was beyond imagination. I'm going. Chu Li smiled. Everyone, please make way. I want to go in. Follow me, the middle-aged man said. Chu Li closed fists saluted. Thank you. The middle-aged man said, My surname is Chu Liang. He waved his hand as he spoke. Everyone opened the door, and he brought Chu Li into the residence. Don't blame us for making things difficult for you, Liang said with a sullen face. It's the imperial residence of King, and that has crossed the line. Our brothers were killed by you. I'm so angry. Chu Li nodded. Of course. Liang shook his head and sighed. This is a mess. Is son Ida really that presumptuous? Brother, you don't believe me? Chu Li laughed. Could it be? Brother, you don't know what your colleagues are like when they are outside? We are a little arrogant. It's inevitable. Liang frowned and said, but we are loyal to His Majesty and have no other intentions. Chu Li said, just because you are loyal to the Emperor, you think you can do whatever you want. Liang stared at him in dissatisfaction. It seems like you are very dissatisfied with the secret guardians. How many people are satisfied with the secret guardians of the Imperial House? Chu Li laughed. I'm afraid the Emperor is the only one in the world. Moreover, the Emperor might not be completely satisfied. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept the peace. Liang's face darkened. Chu Li, you have to understand that this is not the imperial residence of King In. Chu Li smiled. I only know that this is still the Great Ji dynasty. Very good. You are still like this even after meeting the commander. I admire your courage. Liang laughed coldly. Don't blame me for not reminding you. The commander's temper is not as good as mine. Thank you. Brother, please remind me, Chu Li said. Liang could not be bothered to talk to him anymore. He strode inside and went straight to the living room. He stood at the entrance and shouted, Commander, Chu Li is here. Come in. A calm voice came from inside. Liang extended his hand and gestured for Chu Li to enter. Chu Li had already seen the situation in the living room through the omniscient mirror. He slowly walked into the living room and closed fist saluted, Greetings, Commander, Deputy Commander. A burly old man sat on the armchair in the north. He looked elegant like a teacher in a private school. It was hard to imagine that he was the one in charge of the secret guardians of the Imperial House. A middle-aged man sat below him. His tanned face looked like it was made of iron. He was expressionless and his eyes were cold. Anyone who was looked at by him would feel uncomfortable. This was the Deputy Commander, Su Huanda. Chu Li, the secret guardian commander. Fu Mengshan smiled. Young Chu, it is the Secret Guardian Hall's honor to have such a talented person like you enter the Secret Guardian Hall. Commander, you are flattering me. Chu Li closed fist saluted. You hit someone as soon as you came in. How impressive. Su Huanda's face darkened. He said coldly, You are trying to show us who you are. Chu Li closed fist saluted. Deputy Commander, I dare not. Chapter 444. Chu Li said with a straight face, Deputy Commander, if I don't do anything, am I supposed to obediently guard over there and not be able to visit the two commanders? Please forgive me, Deputy Commander. I really can't swallow my anger like this. Humph, swallow your anger. Su Huanda sneered. Being a secret guardian is a task given by the Emperor. The Emperor has already told me that it's just a part-time job. It's just an additional identity. Chu Li shook his head and sighed. There are a lot of trivial matters in the imperial residence. I really have no time to attend to them. I'm only here to visit the two commanders. When the two heard this, they became even more furious. This guy had a big mouth. According to what you're saying, the Emperor sent you into the Secret Guardians Hall because he doesn't want you to do anything? Fu Mengshan smiled kindly. The number of people in the Secret Guardians Hall is limited. There's no idle person. Chu Li said, Then there's no other way. I better ask the Emperor to resign from this task. What a big mouth. Su Huanda gritted his teeth and sneered. He looked at him coldly. Do you think the Secret Guardians Hall is your imperial residence? You can come and go as you please. Chu Li raised his eyebrows. Oh, can't I leave? A secret guardian for a day, a secret guardian for life. Su Huanda said coldly. As a secret guardian, you'll know too much. This is related to the stability of the imperial court. You're not allowed to quit unless you die. Chu Li smiled. I know nothing now. I can always quit, right? It's too late. Su Huanda said coldly. From the moment you stepped into the Secret Guardians Hall, you're destined to be a member of the Secret Guardians Hall. Chu Li shook his head. I think the Emperor will allow my resignation. Then you can try. Su Huanda sneered. If you can resign from this secret guardian, I'll kowtow to you 3 times. I don't deserve it. Chu Li waved his hand. I can't accept such a big bow from Commander Su. Su Huanda gritted his teeth and sneered. What if you can't resign? Fu Mengshan waved his hand and laughed. All right, old Su. Stop teasing little Chu. He stood up and left the armchair. He approached Chu Li and looked at him with a smile. Don't worry, young Chu. I know you're working in the imperial residence. As for Princeton, there are indeed many things to do. I won't give you too much to do here. Thank you, Commander. Chu Li smiled. Commander, let me say this first. The last time I discovered a disciple of the Holy Church of Light, it was purely a coincidence. It's not because I have any special abilities. I just felt that he was a little suspicious. Oh, you think he's suspicious? That's what you're capable of. Fu Mengshan chuckled and said, There were so many people, but why didn't anyone find him suspicious? Only you, little Chu, found him suspicious? This is talent. You dare to look for Prince Bao just because you feel the slightest bit suspicious? This was a lie to children. Chu Li shook his head and smiled. Commander, you flatter me. Fu Mengshan said, How about this? I won't assign you to do anything else. You'll only be in charge of the Holy Church of Light and searching for the disciples of the Holy Church of Light in Fairy's capital. Chu Li immediately laughed. Fu Mengshan was not annoyed. He looked at him with a smile. Young Chu, do you think it's inappropriate? Su Huanda said, Commander, you're handing such an important matter to him? I think it's better to be cautious. What do you think, young Chu? Fu Mengshan smiled. Chu Li said, Commander Su is right. It's better to be cautious. Firstly, there are too many things to do in the imperial residence. I can't split myself up. Secondly, I was lucky that time. I won't have that kind of luck every time. No. Fu Mengshan waved his hand and smiled. I believe you, young Chu, it's not luck. It's true ability. Chu Li smiled. I'm very grateful for the commander's high regard. I'm just afraid that I'm not capable enough and mess up the important matter. If the emperor is dissatisfied with the commander, that would be a sin. Young Chu, how about this? Fu Mengshan smiled. After all, you've just entered the imperial residence. The requirements can't be so strict. As long as you capture another disciple of the Holy Church of Light, you can do whatever you want. Within this year, there won't be any more tasks for you to do. How about that? Commander, you're really good to him. Su Huanda sneered. There's only one task a year, and it's so easy. Chu Li said, Commander, does every secret guardian have a fixed number of tasks? Not really. Fu Mengshan said. Anyway, he can't stay idle. Our secret guardian's hall has always been short of manpower. If you can't even do this small task well, you don't have to resign from the emperor. We'll help you talk to the emperor. Su Huanda said coldly. Let the emperor transfer you out of the imperial residence of King N. Chu Li smiled. If that's the case, I can only try my luck. How about this? Fu Mengshan said, the first thing is to eliminate the disciples of the Holy Church of Light in the imperial residence. Every imperial residence has to be checked. If there's no one in the imperial residence, we'll start with the families of the imperial court officials. Chu Li said, Yes. Fu Mengshan said, There aren't many people that can be transferred to you. How about 2? 2. Chu Li thought about it and said helplessly, 2 it is then. Fu Mengshan went forward and patted his shoulder. He said approvingly, You're straightforward. Young Chu's way of doing things is to my liking. This is the best. You can pick any 2 of them. Of course, they have nothing to do. Then I'll pick the 2 on duty. Chu Li said. You. Fu Mengshan pointed at him. He shook his head and laughed. You still have the temperament of a young man. The 2 of them are new to the imperial residence. They're inexperienced and their temperaments haven't been sharpened. They're easily impulsive and will ruin things. Su Huanda said coldly, I'm warning you in advance. The Secret Guardian's Hall strictly forbids killing each other. They'll be killed without mercy. I won't go so far as to kill them. Chu Li said, Commander Su, don't worry. I'll help the imperial residents to sharpen their temperaments. All right, then I'll have to trouble you. Fu Mengshan smiled. I'll hand the 2 of them over to you. You can sharpen them, but don't let anything happen. If anything happens, I'll hold you accountable. Chu Fist saluted. Liang. Fu Mengshan raised his voice. Yes, Commander. A voice came from outside. Liang's voice came from outside. Call the two on duty outside to come in. Fu Mengshan said. Yes. Liang responded. The sound of footsteps faded away. Fu Mengshan said, the Secret Guardians Hall implements a military system. Captain, Corporal, Sergeant, Centurion, Deputy Commander, Commander. Although your rank is high, you've just entered the residence. You'll start as a captain. Thank you, Commander. Chu said. The two of them quickly followed. Liang entered the main hall. Greetings, Commander, Deputy Commander. The two of them bowed respectfully. Fu Mengshan sat on the armchair and said in a deep voice, Yang Zhongwen, Dong Qifei, from today onwards, both of you will be under Chu Li's team. What? Dong Qifei cried out. Yang Zhongwen was shocked too. He looked at Fu Mengshan and then at Chu Li. Chu Li's face darkened. His expression was solemn. Dong Qifei hurriedly said, Commander, aren't I under Captain Zhang? From today onwards, you'll be under Chu Li. Fu Mengshan smiled. Your Captain Chu is a young talent who's famous in the fairies' capital. If you follow him, you'll have plenty of opportunities to perform meritorious deeds. Commander, Dong Qifei hurriedly shouted. All right, Su Huanda said in a deep voice. It's decided then. Chu Li looked at Dong Qifei with a dark face. Is it a waste of your talent to be under me? Fu Mengshan said, Young Dong, Young Yang, both of you know the rules of the Secret Guardians Hall. The house guards are like the army. If you disobey orders without reason, don't blame the house for being merciless. Chapter 445. Dong Qifei's face was full of reluctance, but the commander and deputy commander both nodded. As a newcomer, he could only obediently follow orders. His internal organs were still hurting. Seeing Chu Li's gloomy face, he groaned to himself and cursed his bad luck. He would not have such good days in the future. Yang Zhongwen glanced at Dong Qifei and groaned to himself. Retribution really came fast. Commander Su, we'll take our leave. Chu Fist saluted. Fu Mengshan said, Liang, help young Chu settle down. Find a small courtyard and build it according to the best standards. Yes, Commander, Liang replied in a low voice. The four of them left the main hall. Liang led the way in front and turned to look at Chu Li. Chu Li smiled. What do you have to say, brother? I didn't expect the commander to value you so much. Liang scoffed, but you have to be careful. I'll give you a piece of advice. Chu Li said, I'm all ears. The commander's temper is not as good as you think. Liang said coldly, if you can complete the mission, the commander will be very kind. But if you can't, he will not be lenient with his punishment. Chu Li smiled. If I can't complete it, how will the commander punish me? He'll send you to a remote place. Liang said, or stay in the residence to do some trivial things. There are many ways. Isn't it good to do trivial things in the residence? Chu Li smiled and glanced at him. Like? Brother, like this? This is punishment. Liang scoffed. I had to stay in the residence for half a year because I made a mistake. Otherwise, I would have gone out to do missions. What are the benefits of missions? Chu Li asked. Liang said, we're using a military system. There are military merits. With military merits, you have everything. Military merits. Chu Li muttered. With military functions, you can be promoted. Once you're promoted, you can get better pills and secret manuals. You even have the opportunity to go to the secret warehouse to pick some strange things. Liang's eyes lit up. In short, military merits are the most precious. Chu Li nodded slowly. This kind of incentive was not rare. The hierarchy was strict. Liang brought them to a small courtyard and pointed at the dilapidated courtyard. This is the place. It's a little run down, but it's quiet. Chu Li smiled. A small team gets such treatment. The mansion was very big, with a total of 5 rooms. There were many rooms, but there were even more people. Chu Li initially thought that he would be sharing a house with someone else, but he did not expect that he would be given a small courtyard. This was the treatment of a sergeant. The commander personally instructed me to do so. Liang asked, Are you satisfied? Chu Li smiled. This courtyard is not bad. Liang said, if there's anything you don't understand, just ask. Actually, there's nothing much to ask. The commander has already instructed you. Just do your job. Chu Li nodded and glanced at Dong Qifei and Yang Zhongwen. Clean up this courtyard first. That's all for today. I'll come back tomorrow. After he finished speaking, he immediately left the secret guardians' hall. Liang, Dong Qifei, and Yang Zhongwen looked at each other. They did not expect Chu Li to leave just like that. Chu Li came out of the secret guardians' hall and strolled along the street. His hands were behind his back, and his white robe was fluttering. He found it strange that the commander and deputy commander of the secret guardians' hall did not have any killing intent towards him. This was very out of his expectations. Seo Shur had killed 2 of the secret guardians of the imperial house. Logically speaking, the 2 commanders would not be nice to him. They might even have prepared all kinds of evil plans in order to regain some of their lost pride. However, the result was unexpected. Not only did they not have any killing intent, but they were also looking forward to him finding a few disciples from the Holy Church of Light. The secret guardians' hall hated the Holy Church of Light to the core. They had already lost more than 10 secret guardians to the Holy Church of Light. In order to find out more about the Holy Church of Light, more than 10 secret guardians joined the Holy Church of Light. However, the Holy Church of Light had a unique way to screen them out. None of the 16 secret guardians were spared. They all died one after another. Hence, the secret guardians' hall hated the Holy Church of Light to the core. The commander of the secret guardians' hall, Fu Mengshan, was so kind to him because he wanted to capture the disciples from the Holy Church of Light. Fu Mengshan said that as long as one was captured, Chu Li could rest for the year. He did not need to care about the secret guardians' hall anymore. This was a lie. Fu Mengshan wanted to see Chu Li's true ability. He wanted to know if he could capture the disciples from the Holy Church of Light. If he really had such ability, he would definitely make him take action no matter what. He would find all the disciples from the Holy Church of Light in the fairies' capital and send them to the ultimate land of bliss one by one. Chu Li was hesitant. He did not know if he should try his best to kill all the disciples from the Holy Church of Light. The disciples from the Holy Church of Light did not come to the fairies' capital with good intentions. It would not be wrong to kill them. Chu Li did not want to stand out at first. The disciples from the Holy Church of Light were all lunatics. Once they were provoked, it would be a big problem that could not be shaken off. He wanted the secret guardians' hall to handle it themselves. Now it seemed that he was too optimistic. The secret guardians' hall had no way to find the disciples from the Holy Church of Light. Hence, the 2 commanders put all their attention on him. They hoped that he really had the ability to find the disciples from the Holy Church of Light. Chu Li was hesitating. The disciples from the Holy Church of Light must be eliminated. However, he needed to think carefully when to do it. His foundation was not stable yet. If he angered the Holy Church of Light and provoked them to take revenge, would he be able to handle it? No matter how he thought about it, he was not sure. He needed to accumulate his strength. Only when he had the confidence to protect himself could he deal with the Holy Church of Light. It was too early to take action now. It would put the people around him in danger. He went back to the imperial residence. He saw Jiang Kuai in the omniscient mirror. Jiang Kuai was wearing a green robe. He was sitting in his small courtyard with a weathered face. He looked anxious and looked at the door from time to time. Shui was fanning the small red clay stove. White steam rose. Chu Li flashed and appeared at the door of the small courtyard. He pushed the door and entered. Jiang Kuai stood up immediately. He closed fist saluted. Chief. Chu Li waved his hand. Looking at his serious face, he knew it was not good news. Sit down and talk. What happened? Jiang Kuai and Chu Li sat at the stone table. Shui served tea and stood behind Chu Li. Chief, bad news. Jiang Kuai's handsome face was gloomy. He said in a low voice, we lost 6 protectors in the imperial residence. They were all gathered in these 3 days. Chu Li said, did you save them? Jiang Kuai shook his head slowly. Chu Li frowned. Didn't you bring the spirit blessing pill? The spirit blessing pill was stolen, Jiang Kuai said in a low voice. Stolen. Chu Li's face turned gloomy. Looks like they won't stop until one of them dies. The spirit blessing pill was not omnipotent. If the opponent was too strong, the protectors of the House of High Dukes would not be able to escape even if they used their secret skills. The spirit blessing pill would be stolen. Even if they took the pill, it would be useless. The opponent could kill them again and completely end the lives of the protectors of the House of High Dukes. Jiang Kuai said, Master Xiao Taiying has ordered all the protectors to return to the House of High Dukes. They will not go out. The dead were innate masters? Chu Li frowned. Grandmasters were not that easy to kill. Jiang Kuai said, 3 innate masters and 3 acquired masters. Shui said in a low voice, Master, if all the protectors were to retreat to the House of High Dukes, wouldn't they become blind and not know anything? This move was too demoralizing and too weak. It would greatly damage the prestige of the House of High Dukes. Logically speaking, no matter how many protectors died, they should not take this step. Chu Li shook his head. Master Xiao Taiying, do you have any clues? Jiang Kuai sighed. Master Xiao Taiying speculated that these people might be the work of the imperial court. It's very likely that the secret guardians of the imperial house did it. Chapter 446. He knew that this was not the work of the imperial house secret guardians. He did not see the news from the 2 commanders. If they really did it, they would definitely think about it when they faced him. There was no trace of this incident in their minds, so the 2 of them did not know about it. However, even if it was not done by them, they could still start from the Imperial House Secret Guardians. The Imperial House Secret Guardians had sharp ears and eyes. They might have some information. He had to go there and try to find some clues. The all-seeing divine power was powerful but not omnipotent. Once a person died, his inner energy would dissipate, and he would not be able to find the person unless there was blood or hair of the person on the body. What about their bodies? Chu Li asked. Is there the murderer's blood on the body? Jiang Kuai shook his head. It should be a grandmaster. They could not resist and died under the sword. Senior Gui and the others saw it, but there were no clues. Shui frowned. This is troublesome. She knew that Chu Li's all-seeing divine power needed the person's blood as a guide. Without it, the all-seeing divine power would be useless. Jiang Kuai said, Master Xiao Taiying said that he could not care about anything else now. Not losing the protectors in the public house is the most important thing. As for the prestige of the public house, we do not need to use the protectors' lives to protect it. Chu Li picked up the teacup and took a sip. This was in line with CO Taiying's character. He prioritized the protectors' lives. Shui said, But we can't just hide forever, right? What has the public house become? Jiang Kuai shook his head and sighed. If the protectors die one by one, it will destroy the prestige of the public house. Master Xiao Taiying said so. Chu Li said, Master Xiao Taiying, do you have any clues? A few grandmasters have left the public house to investigate, Jiang Kuai said. Until I came, there are no useful clues. These people's martial arts are very complicated. They're all grandmasters. It is too easy to deal with innate masters and acquire masters. They are so unscrupulous. I am afraid they are not from the martial arts world. According to the established rules, grandmasters would not easily deal with innate masters and acquired masters unless there was a big grudge or there was no other choice. This was the bottom line. They would not touch it unless it was a life and death situation. This was especially true for the sects in the martial arts world. If one sect's grandmasters killed another sect's innate masters and acquired masters, the other sect would definitely retaliate. After all the killing, only the grandmasters would be left and the sect would be finished. Both of them were wary of each other, so they wouldn't touch this bottom line. Master Xiao Taiying thinks that the imperial court is behind this. Chu Li asked, The secret guardians of the imperial house? Jiang Kuai said, Master Xiao Taiying thinks that it might be the secret guardians of the imperial house, or maybe it's a foreign force. Chu Li muttered, Why don't you stay in the imperial residence for now? It's safer here. I'll talk to Master Xiao Taiying. All right. Jiang Kuai closed fist saluted. Chu Li finished the tea in one gulp and put it down before he stood up. Xueling, help me settle Brother Jiang down. Yes, master, Shui replied. Where are you going, master? The secret guardian's hall. Chuli scoffed. I want to ask them face to face if they were the ones who did it. Be careful, master, Xueling said. Chuli smiled and waved his hand. He closed fist, saluted Jiang Kuai, and left the courtyard. The secret guardian's hall? Jiang Kuai looked at Xueling. Xueling brewed another cup of tea for him. Master Xiao Taiying is now a secret guardian of the imperial house. The emperor personally gave you this identity. You just came back from a secret guardian's hall. Jiang Kuai was surprised. He couldn't figure it out. It was hard for him to connect Chu Li with the secret guardians of the imperial house. The difference in their identities was too big. Xueling told her everything that had happened. Jiang Kuai was amazed. He could imagine the thrilling scene, killing the secret guardians of the imperial house. Just thinking about it was unbelievable. The second lady was too brave. Chu Li entered the secret guardian's hall. The two guards outside were still Dong Qifei and Yang Zongwen. Chu Li stood in front of the door and frowned as he looked at the two. Dong Qifei stood motionless like a statue. Yang Zongwen closed fist saluted. Chu Li frowned. Why are you still guarding the door? Yang Zongwen said. Sergeant said that since we have nothing to do, we'll guard here first. We'll find someone to replace us tomorrow. Didn't I ask you to clean the courtyard? Chu Li asked. Yang Zongwen said. Sergeant has already sent a few maids to clean up. We don't have to do it. Chu Li nodded. Keep your spirits up. Don't be lazy. Yes, Yang Zongwen quickly responded. Chu Li turned his head to look at Dong Qifei. Dong Qifei's face was expressionless as he looked straight ahead. Chu Li scoffed. Dong Qifei, go and see Prince Cheng. Tell him that we're going to investigate the people in their residence tomorrow. Don't let him leak the news. Yes, Dong Qifei hesitated for a while and said in a low voice. Chu Li said, if you don't do this well, you'll have to guard the door. Yes, Dong Qifei replied. Chu Li shook his head and entered the residence. Yang Zongwen looked at Dong Qifei with sympathy. Dong Qifei widened his eyes in dissatisfaction. What are you looking at? Yang Zongwen shook his head. Elder Dong, you're too soft. You listened to Captain Zhang's words. Now you know what's wrong, right? Dong Qifei scoffed. Captain Zhang will not let this go. You really don't know what's going on. Yang Zongwen kept shaking his head. He felt that Dong Qifei had really walked a dark path and had a foolish spirit. He really could not bear to see him walk down the crooked path. Think about it carefully. What is Captain Zhang? Has the commander ever smiled at Captain Zhang like this? It's just because of his identity. Dong Qifei was not convinced. If it wasn't for his identity as the head chief, the commander would not be nice to him. Don't you understand it very well? Yang Zongwen sighed. Our current Captain Shu is not someone that Captain Zhang can compare to. There's no benefit in going against Captain Shu. Just wait and see. Captain Zhang will be unlucky sooner or later. He can't win against Captain Shu. I don't think so. Dong Qifei pouted. How long has Captain Zhang been in the residence? How long has Chu Li been? Captain Zhang has been in the residence for many years. He's only a captain. What about Captain Shu? Yang Zongwen said earnestly. So don't mess around. Don't get yourself into trouble. I don't have so many twists and turns. I'll be nice to whoever is nice to me. Dong Qifei scoffed. Yang Zongwen said, all right. I give up. Chu Li heard their conversation clearly and smiled. Dong Qifei was really stupid, but he was easier to control. Someone as smart as Yang Zongwen was not so easy to control. He needed to put in some thought. He came out of the main hall and closed fist saluted. Commander Su. He saw the two of them talking in the main hall. Hearing his voice, the two of them stopped talking and looked at each other. Su Huanda scoffed. What's the matter? I have something to ask the two commanders, Chu Li said. Chapter 447. P.S. It's a new week. I'm begging for recommendation votes. Chu Li slowly walked into the hall. There were only two people sitting on the armchairs in the hall. Fu Mengshan smiled and waved his hand. Little Chu, come here. What's the problem? Chu Li said in a low voice. Commander, I'm here to ask if we're going to attack the High Duke's public house. Attack the High Duke's public house? Fu Mengshan was startled. The smile on his face disappeared, and he said seriously, Little Chu, what are you talking about? Su Huanda asked in a deep voice. Where did you hear that from? Chu Li said, 6 protectors of the public house died in 3 days. Was it not done by the secret guardians of the imperial house? 6 protectors died? Fu Mengshan and Su Huanda's expressions changed slightly as they looked at each other. Chu Li scoffed. The protectors of the High Duke's public house are not to be trifled with. Normal people are no match for them. Moreover, normal people do not dare to provoke the High Duke's public house now. Other than the secret guardians' hall, which faction would have the guts to do so? Young Chu, Fu Mengshan frowned and said, This is also the first time I've heard of this. This is really a big deal. Who will be so daring? Chu Li said, I know that the secret guardians' hall has always been displeased with the High Duke's public house, and they've been making things difficult for us, but I didn't think that they would be so vicious. Is this revenge on me? Since they can't kill me, they can't kill the second lady, so they're taking revenge on the public house. Little Chu, don't talk nonsense. Fu Mengshan waved his hand and stood up with a gloomy face. He paced back and forth in the hall with his hands behind his back. Su Huanda scoffed. You suspected the secret guardians' hall the moment you heard the news, didn't you? Chu Li said, This is too much of a coincidence. I can't help but suspect it. Commanders, if you have any problems, just come at me. Why do you have to seek revenge on the public house? Su Huanda said impatiently, Shut up. If they really wanted to deal with you, why would they need to take revenge on the High Duke's public house? Moreover, do you think they can just kill the protectors of the High Duke's public house? The secret guardians' hall was responsible for keeping an eye on the High Duke's public house, but they did not have the authority to kill anyone. Stirring up trouble and disrupting the High Duke's public house was already the most they could do. They had never assassinated the protectors of the High Duke's public house. Chu Li pretended to be suspicious and stared at him. He just wanted to get some information out of them. Why are you looking at me like that? Su Huanda said coldly. I don't have time to lie to you. Chu Li said, The secret guardians' hall must know who did it, right? Why didn't you tell me beforehand? Why should I tell you? Su Huanda said coldly. Do you think you're the commander of the secret guardians' hall? Chu Li sighed. Commander Su, I'm disappointed by your words. All right. Fu Mengshan waved his hand and said with a smile, Regarding this matter, I really don't know. Old Su, go and take a look and see if there's any information on this matter. All right. Su Huanda glared at Chu Li before he stood up and left the main hall. Fu Mengshan said, Young Chu, come, have a seat. Chu Li understood Fu Mengshan's thoughts. The Holy Church of Light had become his sore point. Chu Li did not want to deal with the Holy Church of Light just yet. He decided to think about it after the eldest master's wedding. If he provoked them, the eldest master's wedding would be even more exciting. Thank you very much, Commander. Chu Li sat on an armchair. Fu Mengshan said, Young Chu, tell me, how did you recognize the disciple of the Holy Church of Light? Chu Li shook his head and smiled. It's really a feeling, I can't describe it. You? Fu Mengshan pointed at him. He knew Chu Li was not telling the truth, but he could not force him. He knew Chu Li very well and knew his background. As the chief of Glorysville Courtyard, he was best at eliminating traitors. Chu Li actually said that he found the disciple of the Holy Church of Light by luck. It would be strange if Fu Mengshan believed him. A moment later, Su Huanda strode in and scoffed with a sullen face. There's really no news. The smile on Fu Mengshan's face disappeared. Su Huanda said, I think there's news. Unfortunately, it's a little slow, so it hasn't been sent back yet. Chu Li, how do you know? Is the news from the Secret Guardians Hall so slow? It's already very fast. Su Huanda scoffed. A messenger pigeon is faster than a galloping horse. Fu Mengshan said, Young Chu, don't be anxious. I believe there will be news soon. Chu Li said, The news doesn't spread as fast as the High Duke's public house. Commander Su, isn't this embarrassing the Emperor? How did the High Duke's public house spread the news? It's that Jiang Kuai, right? Su Huanda scoffed. Chu Li raised his eyebrows. They actually knew Jiang Kuai. You have a good helper, Su Huanda said, but not everyone has Jiang Kuai's light body technique. Chu Li smiled. There should be many light body technique masters in the Secret Guardians Hall, right? There are, but they don't have light body technique masters like Jiang Kuai. Su Huanda scoffed. Do you think that light body technique masters like that can be easily won over? Chu Li nodded. Light body technique masters often had a kind of arrogance. They roamed the world and came and went as they pleased. Most of them were used to being free and unfettered. It was fate that he was able to recruit Jiang Kuai. Chu Li, you have to hurry up with the Holy Church of Light. Fu Mengshan sighed and shook his head. The emperor is also very anxious. If they really cause trouble, the Secret Guardians Hall will be too embarrassed. I don't think it's that easy to make a move on the Holy Church of Light. Chu Li said they have a big plan. Can you guess what they're planning? Fu Mengshan's spirit was lifted. Chu Li shook his head. I can't guess, but I think it's not to assassinate the Imperial Crown Prince. Fu Mengshan patted the armrest of the armchair and fell into deep thought. What other plans do they have? Su Huanda scoffed. It can't be to assassinate the Imperial Crown Prince, right? Chu Li said, Commander Su, this is just my personal speculation. It may not be accurate. Your thinking is indeed reasonable. Fu Mengshan said slowly. If they really want to assassinate the Imperial Crown Prince, why didn't they do it before? What do they want to do? Chu Li suddenly said, Commander Su, the Secret Guardians Hall is involved in this matter with the High Duke's public house, right? Su Huanda was stunned by the question and hurriedly said, What nonsense are you talking about? Chu Li said, The High Duke's public house will take revenge on this matter. Tell the two commanders in advance that if there are people from the Secret Guardians Hall, it's best to retreat first so that they don't accidentally hurt our own people. Su Huanda frowned. How do you want to take revenge? Chu Li said, I'll do what I can. So you'll do your best? Fu Mengshan smiled. Young Chu, don't make it out of hand. Commander, Chu Li smiled. If the High Duke's public house doesn't take revenge, their deterrence will disappear completely. I'm afraid the world will be in chaos, and that will be out of hand. Fu Mengshan and Su Huanda looked at each other. Their hearts were heavy. Chu Li smiled. But don't worry, commanders. I won't kill innocent people. Fu Mengshan frowned and did not say anything. Su Huanda said, If there are people from the Secret Guardians Hall involved, are you going to kill the Secret Guardians? You have to know our rules. You're not allowed to kill each other. Chu Li smiled and shook his head. How can I break the rules? It can't be that the two commanders ordered this, right? Su Huanda glared at him. You're a member of the Secret Guardians Hall now. Chapter 448. Bring it in. Su Huanda scoffed. Yes. Liang strode in. When he saw Chu Li, he paused for a moment, then went to Su Huanda and presented a bamboo tube with both hands. Su Huanda waved his hand. Liang glanced at Chu Li and left. Su Huanda opened the bamboo tube, took out a few pieces of paper, and handed it to Fu Mengshan. Fu Mengshan looked through the 10 pieces of paper one by one. His face darkened. He shook his head and passed it to Su Huanda. Su Huanda quickly looked through it and looked up at Chu Li. Chu Li saw his hesitant expression and smiled. Did I guess it right? Someone from the Secret Guardians Hall did it. Young Chu. Fu Mengshan sighed helplessly. Chu Li had just entered the Secret Guardians Hall and wanted to use him to search for the disciples of the Holy Church of Light. Then, the people below did this and caused trouble for him. However, they cannot be said to have done anything wrong. Young Chu. Fu Mengshan slapped his thigh and sighed. Don't be angry. The Secret Guardians Hall was meant to contain the High Duke's public house to prevent them from acting without scruples. In the end, it will be difficult to clean up the mess. With us watching over them, the High Duke's public house will not act recklessly and bring about their own destruction. Chu Li smiled. Commander, can I take a look at this? Su Huanda looked at Fu Mengshan. Fu Mengshan pondered for a moment and slowly nodded. All right, it's okay to take a look, but you have to promise me that you will not touch the people from the Secret Guardians Hall. Chu Li scoffed. 6 protectors of the High Duke's public house. Did they die in vain? They did not expect it to be so serious, Fu Mengshan said. It was an unintentional mistake. Is there any difference between an unintentional mistake and an intentional mistake to the 6 dead protectors of the High Duke's public house? Chuli shook his head. Commander Sue, I can only say that I will not do it, but I cannot decide what the High Duke's public house will do. I have to ask Master Shao. Moreover, even if you don't show it to me, I think I can find out. It's just a matter of time. Su Huanda was annoyed. He kept the paper and said coldly, Chuli, who do you think you are? You can kill the secret guardians whenever you want. If something really happens to them, I'll hold you accountable. Chuli laughed. Commander Su, if I don't do anything, how are you going to hold me accountable? Su Huanda snorted coldly. Even if you're the one who ordered him to do so. Chuli asked, how did Commander Su know that I was the one who ordered this? If it's something that the House of High Dukes did, you'll have to answer for it. Su Huanda said coldly, don't think that we can't do anything to you. There are many ways to deal with you. Don't force us to do that. Chuli turned his head to look at Fu Mengshan. Commander, I'd like to request for punishment first. What punishment? Fu Mengshan asked gently. Chuli said, I can't complete the task given to me by the commander. With such a huge incident happening in the High Duke's public house, I can't calm down and investigate the Holy Church of Light. Even if I force myself to, I won't be able to find anything. Fu Mengshan's face also darkened. He stared at Chuli and said coldly, Chuli, are you threatening me? Chuli gave a fist salute. I dare not. I'll request for isolated cultivation in the Secret Guardians Hall so that I won't be blamed if anything happens to the Secret Guardians. I didn't see any news. If I'm in isolated cultivation, I can't order the High Duke's public house to do anything. What the High Duke's public house does has nothing to do with me. Commander Su, you won't be held accountable. All right, Su Huanda sneered. As long as you imprison yourself in the Secret Guardians Hall, you won't be blamed if anything happens. Chuli smiled. That's the best. Commander, Su Huanda scoffed. Fu Mengshan frowned and looked at Chuli. Do you really want to do this? Chuli nodded slowly. This is the only way to put Commander Su at ease. That's right, Su Huanda said. Fu Mengshan regained his gentle expression and sighed. You guys, all right. Chuli will imprison yourself in your courtyard. For the next 10 days, you're not allowed to see anyone. Thank you, Commander. Chuli gave a fist salute. Su Huanda scoffed. It seems that you're very confident in the High Duke's public house. Of course, Chuli said lightly. Outsiders think that the High Duke's public house is weak. This time, I'll let everyone see whether the High Duke's public house is weak or not. Commander Su, I'll take my leave. Commander, I'll send Chuli over and stay with him for a few days. Su Huanda said. You guys, Fu Mengshan laughed. Elder Su, why are you acting like a child? I don't believe that he can really hold it in. Su Huanda scoffed. All right, we'll do as you say. Fu Mengshan shook his head helplessly and broke into laughter. Su Huanda turned his head and said, We'll stay in the same courtyard. It's my honor, Chuli said. The two of them left the main hall and arrived at the small courtyard. The small courtyard had been refurbished. It was clean and the furniture had been replaced. The dilapidated feeling was swept away. Chuli stood in the small courtyard and looked around. He nodded in satisfaction. Although it could not be compared to the High Duke's public house and the imperial residence, it was quiet enough. The surrounding air was also fresh. When he channeled the scripture of life and death, spiritual energy surged from all directions. There were many old trees in the Secret Guardians Hall. Commander Su, how about we spar? Chuli said. Su Huanda squinted his eyes and scoffed. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you with one palm? Chuli smiled. I have nothing better to do. It's to relieve my boredom. All right, Su Huanda said. He also wanted to see Chu Li's capabilities. He wanted to know what gave him the confidence to be so arrogant. Bang! Chu Li threw a punch, and Su Huanda threw a palm. The fist and palm energy collided in the air. The surrounding flower beds shook as if a strong wind blew past. You're quite capable. Su Huanda frowned. Chu Li smiled and threw another punch. He was getting more and more familiar with High Duke Lu's fist technique. Bang, 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 bang. The two's fist and palm collided. Their bodies gradually approached each other. Chu Li's movements were unusually fast, while Su Huanda's techniques were exquisite. The two of them fought for 20 moves, and it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Satisfying. Chu Li stopped and closed fist saluted. Commander Su is indeed powerful. I'm impressed. Su Huanda's face darkened. He was a little depressed. He initially thought that he could suppress Chu Li. After the fight, he realized that the depth and purity of Chu Li's inner energy was far beyond his imagination. It was not an undeserved reputation. He might not be able to suppress him. Commander Su, let's stop here. We'll come again tomorrow. Chu Li smiled. Let's limit it to 20 moves. How about that? Very well, Su Huanda scoffed. Chu Li closed fist saluted and entered the east wing. He left the main bedroom for Su Huanda. The sun was setting. When Su Huanda was meditating, Chu Li disappeared in a flash. The next moment, he appeared in a waterside pavilion at Snow Crescent Lake. Suru was dressed in a loose white robe. She was lying on her side on the couch with a book in her hand. The light in the waterside pavilion was bright and gentle. It made her look as beautiful as a flower. Seeing Chu Li suddenly appear, Suru rolled her eyes and rolled her eyes. You finally remembered. Chu Li smiled. I've been too busy lately. How are things here? It's all right. The days are peaceful. Suru nodded. You wouldn't visit me without a reason. Tell me, what's the matter? Chapter 449. Why are we going to Green Hill? Suru put down her scroll and sat up lazily. She yawned. Green Hill has been quite well behaved recently. They were scared out of their wits by your blade last time. After she came to Snow Lunar Pavilion, she was no longer a maid. She spent most of her time reading and cultivating. With nothing to do, her temperament slowly changed. They're not scared out of their wits. Chu Li sneered. They're doing something else and have no time to bother with Snow Lunar Pavilion. Suru understood immediately. What did they do this time? Chu Li told her about the incident at the High Duke's public house. 6 protectors died. Suru's face darkened. She had always regarded the High Duke's public house as her home. The guards of the High Duke's public house were like family. Even if they were at odds with each other, they were still family. Suru asked again, Who is the murderer? I received news that Green Hill and Feng Huang Hill colluded. They also joined forces with Huan Jian sect, Golden Blade faction, and 9 Spirits Hill. 5 factions attacked at the same time. Chu Li said, Looks like the High Duke's public house pushed them too hard. They are desperate now. 5 factions joined forces? Suru frowned. These 5 sects were not ordinary sections. Green Hill and Feng Huang Hill were first-rate sects, while Jindao clan, Huanjin sect, and 9 Spirits Hill were strong sects among the second-rate sections. Their reputations were comparable to Taihua Valley. Taihua Valley hid their strength. If they really revealed it, they might not lose to Green Hill. But who knew if these 3 sects were like Taihua Valley and had hidden their strength? Each faction was not strong enough compared to the High Duke's public house. But the 5 factions combined were stronger than the High Duke's public house. Their sudden attack caught the High Duke's public house off guard. It was natural for 6 protectors to die. If this continued, more protectors would be lost. Chu Li said, Master Xiao Taiying made a good move. He withdrew all the protectors into the public house and did not go out. He did not lose any more people. Only Master Xiao Taiying would do something like this. Suru smiled. Chu Li nodded. Without this step, they would have lost more protectors if they were caught off guard. I need to go to Green Hill to confirm the authenticity of this news. I'll bring you there. Suru said, I've been to Green Hill once. Let's leave quietly. We'll leave now. I still have something to do. Chu Li said. You don't want to see Han Yin? Suru smiled. She talks about you every day. Chu Li shook his head. We'll talk about it next time. Let's settle this first. All right. Suru said, then let's go. Chu Li glanced at her body. Suru came back to her senses. I'll change my clothes. She hurriedly entered the house next door and changed into a dark green outfit. Her skin was as white as jade, and she looked even more beautiful. Chu Li held her waist and disappeared from the waterside pavilion in a flash. When they reached the foot of the mountain, they followed the direction that Su-Ru had told them to go. It was as if he had shrunk the ground into an inch. With a single step, he was more than 100 feet, and his speed was as fast as lightning. A bright moon hung high up in the night sky. The surroundings were quiet. Only the chirping of insects could be heard. The moonlight shone on their bodies like water. Su-Ru was a little intoxicated by the night scenery, but Chu-Li was not in the mood to appreciate it. Suddenly, he stopped at the top of a peach tree. "It's too late. I have to go back now. Wait for me at the foot of Green Hill. I'll be there tomorrow." "All right." Su-Ru nodded. Along the way, Chu-Li had already told her about the situation after they parted. Su-Ru also understood Chu-Li's current situation. He could not arouse the suspicion of the deputy commander of the secret guardians hall, Su-Huanda. Chu-Li plucked 2 strands of Su-Ru's hair and appeared in the east room of the courtyard of the secret guardians hall. Su-Huanda's voice came from outside. "Chu-Li, Chu-Li," Chu-Li said in a deep voice. "What's the matter?" He opened the window and said unhappily, "I'm cultivating. I can't be disturbed." Su-Huanda looked at him for a while. "You're too careless." Chu-Li stared at him with a sour expression. "Spit it out if you have something to say." "You're not eating dinner?" "I'm not eating." "All right then, I'll eat by myself." Su-Huanda shook his head. "You have quite a temper." Chu-Li closed the window with a bang and lay back on the bed. He closed his eyes, and the image of the golden Lohan appeared in his mind. His mind entered it and slowly entered a meditative state. His body on the bed adjusted its posture and slowly matched the posture of the golden Lohan in his mind. His breathing became slower and slower until it matched the frequency of the golden Lohan in his mind. Every breath he took was like silk, long and endless. When he woke up in the morning, the aura around his body was warm, as if he was soaking in a hot spring. He was full of energy, refreshed, and indescribably happy. It was as if the whole world had come alive. After the aura circulated for a while, the water ball formed from the heavenly demonic energy appeared again. It quickly circled around his body and absorbed the aura before returning to his precordium. Chu-Li's body was light and empty. His bones were extremely hard, and he was full of energy. The golden Lohan's power was indeed extraordinary. He would try not to let the heavenly demonic energy devour it next time. He got up and left the east room. Su-Huanda was practicing his fist technique in the courtyard. His movements were slow and elegant, as if he was dancing. Under such circumstances, his dark face looked more pleasing to the eye. He took a step forward and stood in front of Su-Huanda and punched. Su-Huanda slowly pushed his palm forward. Bang! The fist energy and palm energy collided. Chu-Li took a step back. Su-Huanda also took a step back. Su-Huanda's expression turned ugly. He finally concluded that Chu-Li's cultivation level was on par with his. Chu-Li retracted his palm and said, "Looks like we can't tell who's better. Commander Su, you're so relaxed. Don't tell me you're slacking off? Everyone has their own duties." "I'm not busy," Su-Huanda said coldly. Chu-Li stopped talking and started practicing the Darking Palm. Su-Huanda also started practicing the fist technique from before. The courtyard became quiet again. A maid brought food over. The two ate at the stone table and went back to their respective rooms. Su-Huanda was determined to keep an eye on Chu-Li. He stayed in the house for a while and went to the courtyard. He started practicing his palm technique slowly. He was determined to keep an eye on Chu-Li so that he could not run away. The Green Hill was a towering mountain peak that reached into the sky. Half of the mountain was covered by clouds and mist. There was a valley halfway up the mountain. In the valley, there were rows upon rows of buildings. It was antique. The Green Hill faction that had been passed down for almost 1,000 years was located here. A gray basilica was built against the precipice. The basilica and the straight stone wall seemed to be one. The basilica was empty except for a few armchairs. A picture of the Green Hill was hung on the north wall. It looked imposing. The three of them sat on the armchairs. The atmosphere in the spacious basilica was tense. "Eldest brother, what do we do now?" A chubby old man with a round face said angrily, "If I had to say, this is pure nonsense." Do you think the High Duke's public house is so easy to mess with? That's enough, third brother. What's the point of talking about this now? We've already fought. The square-faced old man in the lead waved his hand. He had a head of white hair. His maroon face was flushed, and his eyes were bright. Another old man had a sallow face. He looked sickly, but his eyes were bright and sharp. Third brother, are you going to run to the High Duke's public house and beg for mercy? We've already killed them. I only regret that we killed too little. Only 6 died. A bunch of useless people. The High Duke's public house will definitely take revenge. The round-faced old man shook his head. They won't let this go. Hee. You think too highly of them. The sallow-faced old man smiled sarcastically. I thought the High Duke's public house was strong. They were majestic and imposing. But in the end, they retreated after a fight. They're so afraid of death. They retreated, but they'll make their move soon. The round-faced old man said anxiously, if they know that the 5 of us joined forces, they won't let us go easily. Chapter 450. Eldest Brother. The round-faced elder frowned and shouted. The red-faced elder waved his hand and said, third brother, forget it. Don't underestimate yourself. The High Duke's public house is strong, but after this incident, they lack courage. If the martial arts masters lose their spirit, they're nothing to worry about. We've been suppressed for so many years. It's time to regain our prestige and let the world know about Green Hill. The ancestors of Green Hill were famous for a time. The younger generation of disciples could not surpass their predecessors and barely maintain their heritage. With the rise of Snow Lunar Pavilion, Green Hill's status declined and was looked down upon by the world. Other than Snow Lunar Pavilion, the E-Public House was also getting stronger. With the strength of the E-Public House, the martial arts world of all the sects in Chongming Road was pressured to the point of suffocation. At this time, they needed a leader to unite everyone to fight against the E-Public House. The E-Public House was strong, but it was impossible to be stronger than the alliance of several major sections. As long as they had a good grasp of the situation, they could counter the High Duke's public house and suppress them to the point of suffocation. The E-Public House wanted to unite by marriage with Hawaii Public House. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once the 2 High Duke's public houses united by marriage, the imperial court would definitely be uneasy. The other public houses would also be afraid. More importantly, the major sects in Chongming Road would have a sense of crisis. Once the 2 public houses united, they would not be able to survive. This was the best time to unite the sects to deal with the E-Public House. If they did not seize the opportunity, they would not be able to fight against the E-Public House anymore. Eldest brother, I'm afraid that it'll backfire. The round-faced elder sighed and said, the High Duke's public house seems to have retreated, but it's like a punch. Retracting and then hitting back is the most terrifying thing. Hee, they might be confused now. They've been beaten silly and don't know who did it. The sallow-faced elder shook his head and laughed. They have too many enemies. They won't be able to find us in a short time. I hope they find us soon. The red-faced elder sighed. I'm afraid that a long delay will bring trouble. Eldest brother, you're worrying too much. We're in the same boat now. They can only follow us to the end. The sallow-faced elder said. It's only been a few days, and the disciples are already full of resentment. The round-faced old man frowned and said, if it really doesn't work, let the experts of the various sects live outside the valley and stay far away from it, lest they start fighting. How could they be willing to move out of the valley? The sallow-faced old man said, after all, we were the ones who invited them. It's not like he's helping us. The round-faced old man said unhappily, this is helping themselves. It's as if we owe them. I really can't stand it. Keep this under wraps for now. The red-faced elder waved his hand and said, looks like we can't wait for the High Duke's public house to investigate on their own. Think of a way to leak the news to them so that they can come to us as soon as possible. Eldest senior brother, which faction did you say sent us the news? The sallow-faced elder asked. Was it from the imperial court? Most likely, the red-faced elder said coldly. They don't have any good intentions either. They can't wait for us to fight to the death with the High Duke's public house, so that our strength will be greatly damaged. I'm worried that it might be another sect. The round-faced old man frowned and said, if they suddenly appear when we are exhausted, then we will become a joke. Don't worry, the alliance of the 5 major sects is strong enough. We don't need to fear anyone. The sallow-faced elder said impatiently, third brother, can't you say something nice? Don't say such depressing things. Anyway, I don't think this alliance will work. The round-faced elder scoffed. The red-faced elder said, third brother, nothing can be guaranteed. If we want to reap great rewards, we must take great risks. We can't have it both ways. We can only gamble on this. If we succeed, the Green Hill will be the top faction in the martial arts world. If not, then we'll just lie low for a few years. It's no big deal. Sigh. The round-faced elder slowly nodded. Chuli stood at the side of the basilica and listened to the conversation between the 3. He shook his head and disappeared again. Chuli appeared in the east wing of the courtyard of the Secret Guardian's Hall. He pushed the door open and went out. Su Huanda was practicing his palm technique in the courtyard. His movements were relaxed and slow. The sound of blood flowing in his body could be heard faintly. His cultivation level was very high. Chuli walked in front of him and started practicing his fist technique slowly. Commander Su, the people from the Secret Guardian's Hall sold the information about the High Duke's public house to the Green Hill, right? Chuli said casually. Su Huanda's movements paused for a moment before he recovered. He said nonchalantly, don't talk nonsense. Chuli said, which fella did it? Su Huanda scoffed. Why, you want revenge? Chuli shook his head. I'm just reminding Commander Su to quickly ask them to return before they get punished by the High Duke's public house. Don't underestimate the High Duke's public house. They have eyes and ears everywhere. The Gloriesville courtyard is also in charge of intelligence. The things that those 2 secret guardians did can't be hidden from the High Duke's public house. Su Huanda looked at him, but did not say anything. Chuli slowly closed his eyes and only practiced his fist technique without saying anything. The atmosphere in the courtyard became gloomy. After a while, Chuli stopped practicing. Commander Su, I'm going to meditate and cultivate. Don't disturb me. Don't even call me when you're eating. Okay, got it. Su Huanda lightly replied. Chuli Fist saluted and turned to return to the east wing. He lay on his side on the bed and did not move. Soon, he channeled the life and death scripture. There was no aura around him, as if he had disappeared from the world. After a quarter of an hour, Su Huanda came to Chu Li's window as if nothing had happened. He stopped and listened attentively. He did not hear anything and could not sense Chu Li's presence. He frowned and thought for a while. He gently opened the door and silently floated into Chu Li's bedroom. Chu Li was lying on his side on the bed. He looked peaceful and motionless. His breathing seemed to have stopped. There was no aura around him. It was as if there was only a shadow in front of him. Su Huanda's dark face showed a surprised expression. He originally thought that Chu Li had sneaked out. He did not expect that he was really cultivating. This martial art was so strange. No wonder he did not respond. In this state, he was like a tortoise. He was probably isolated from the outside world. If he gave him a palm strike, he might be able to kill him in one hit. When he thought of this, he was a little tempted. He then restrained his killing intent. Chu Li was now an indispensable person in the secret hall. It was all thanks to him that the disciples of the Holy Church of Light were taken care of. Otherwise, the commander and himself would not have allowed him to be so arrogant. They would have let him know the power of the Secret Guardian's Hall. He silently left the east wing and returned to his own room to meditate. It was indeed embarrassing that his cultivation level was not as good as Chu Li. He should take this opportunity to calm down and cultivate properly. He should surpass this guy. Co Taiying and Co Baihe were talking in the main hall. The atmosphere was gloomy. 6 protectors of the House of High Dukes were dead. The rest of the protectors retreated to the House of High Dukes. This was a huge blow to the morale of the House of High Dukes. The protectors were depressed. They were killed for no reason. They could not find the murderer. Moreover, they did not look for the murderer. They just stayed in the house and let the murderer roam freely. If it was not for the eldest master's high prestige, everyone would have to obey, even if they were dissatisfied. If it was someone else who gave the order, they would have questioned it. Co Tying was under a huge pressure. Co Baiha could not bear to watch. Big brother, don't think too much. They are definitely here for your wedding. As long as the wedding goes smoothly, everyone will calm down. It's my fault. Co Tying sighed. I should have guessed that they would kill me. I should have called them back earlier. Chapter 451. Chuli slowly walked into the basilica and smiled. Fourth young master is right. Eldest master, you shouldn't think this way. Chuli, Co Tying was overjoyed. Chuli closed fist saluted. Greetings, Master Xiao Tying, fourth master. Xiao Baiha cupped his fist to return the greeting and said with a smile, You're finally back. Big brother has been waiting for you. Chuli turned his head and looked around. Is it convenient for you, Mr. Tian? Co Taiying's smile widened. Mr. Tian's schemes are profound. You really live up to your reputation. That's good. Chuli smiled and nodded. This time, the Green Hill and Fenghuang Mountain are the leaders. The Golden Blade faction, Returning Sword Sect, and Nine Spirits Mountain are also participating. The 5 sects are working together. The alliance of the 5 sects. Co Tying and Co Baiha looked serious. They felt that the other party was strong, but they did not expect the situation to be like this. Just like how the imperial court was worried about the High Duke's public houses forming an alliance. The High Duke's public houses were most afraid of factions forming an alliance. Chuli said, As for the news about the protectors of the High Duke's public house, it was leaked by the secret guardians of the imperial house. Damn it! Co Tying angrily slammed the armrest of his armchair. Xiao Baiha sneered and said, These guys are always looking for trouble. Chuli shook his head and said, Eldest master, fourth master, I'm considered a secret guardian of the imperial house now. That's how I got this information. Co Tying and Co Baiha looked at him in surprise. Chuli smiled bitterly. It's a long story, but in short, the secret guardians of the imperial house came to the imperial residence to cause trouble for me. Lady Xiao killed them, and then went to the imperial palace to question the emperor why the secret guardians of the imperial house were so arrogant. The emperor gave me the identity of a secret guardian of the imperial house, and I can't get rid of it for now. Second sister really knows how to make trouble. Co Tying laughed. She even dared to kill the secret guardians of the imperial house. Xiao Baiha laughed, but he also felt relieved. The secret guardians of the imperial house had caused too much trouble for the public house. Chuli said, This time, it was 2 secret guardians from the imperial house who leaked the news. Cripple their martial arts first so that they don't escape back to the fairies' capital. Fine, cripple them and vent my anger. Co Tying said hatefully, Who is it? Chuli said, Bring me a pen and paper. Lin Quan. Co Tying said. Lin Quan, who was standing in the corner, responded and went to the table to grind the ink. Chuli waited for him to grind the ink. Then he waved the brush and drew 2 portraits in one go. Co Tying and Co Baiha took a few glances at it and nodded. It was so lifelike. Chuli said, Even if these 2 Imperial House secret guardians are crippled, the Secret Guardians Hall will still send more people over. This time, it was these 2 fellows who acted on their own and caused this incident. It's good that they're replaced. Co Tying said, The key is still the alliance of the 5 factions. Looks like I have to go all out. Chuli asked, What does Master Xiao Tying plan to do? Gather all the Grandmasters and clean up the Green Hill. The Grandmasters from the 5 sects have gathered at Green Hill. They have predicted Master Xiao Taiying's reaction and are waiting for a head-on blow. Xiao Baiha muttered, Let's avoid the strong and attack the weak. Let's go to Fenghuang Mountain first. What do you think? That's a good idea. Co Tying gritted his teeth and said, Destroy Fenghuang Hill and give them a warning. Chuli, what do you think? Chuli said, I'm afraid it won't be that easy to destroy Fenghuang Mountain. From what I see, it's better to destroy the remaining 3 factions. The first-rate sects have a terrifying background. It's better to weaken them first. It's not worth it to destroy them. Co. Tying frowned and said, if that's the case, won't the world laugh at us for bullying the weak and fearing the strong? Chuli smiled and said, bullying the weak and fearing the strong is the iron law of the martial arts world. Like these three factions, they don't have enough strength, but they still want to get involved. They're digging their own graves. Next time, let's see who dares to mess around behind Green Hill and Fenghuang Mountain. Weaken their influence, and it's not too late to deal with them later. Co. Bai has said, Chief Chu, are the first-rate sects really that scary? They all have the surpassing state. They've existed longer than our High Duke's public house. Who knows if they're hiding some old demons that will appear at the crucial moment. Moreover, the first-rate sects must have some hidden strength. They themselves have the surpassing state. Who knows how many grandmasters they have? There are 3, maybe only 2. If they're really that powerful, wouldn't they have already suppressed our High Duke's public house? Co. Bai has said. Chuli said, they can't be compared to our High Duke's public house. Moreover, they have their own enemies. For example, Green Hill and Snow Lunar Pavilion have hundreds of years of hatred that can't be resolved. In comparison, their grudge with our High Duke's public house is not that deep. If they really want to go against our High Duke's public house, Snow Lunar Pavilion will definitely not let go of this good opportunity. Co. Bai has slowly nodded and came to a realization. If we weaken their strength, their enemies will have a chance. But once their enemies' strength increases, will they threaten our High Duke's public house? That's why we have to control the scale. Chu Li said, we can't act based on emotions. We have to stand on the High Duke's public house's point of view to balance all parties. Co. Baihe looked at Co. Tying and shook his head with a bitter smile. He knew that this was too difficult for his big brother. His big brother was emotional. How could he be so calm and weigh the pros and cons? Are we just going to let Green Hill and Fenghuang Mountain go? Co. Tying scoffed. Chu Li said, they killed 6 of our people. Then we'll kill 60 of them. Green Hill will kill 60. Fenghuang Mountain will kill 60. And the remaining 3 sects will be annihilated. What do you think? Big brother, I think it's doable. Co. Bai has said, 1 against 10. Let's see if they still dare to do it next time. Co. Tying sighed and said hatefully, we're still not strong enough. If the High Duke's public house was strong enough, they could directly annihilate these 5 sections. Let's see who would dare to offend the High Duke's public house again. Chu Li smiled bitterly and shook his head. No matter how strong the High Duke's public house was, the emperor would not be able to sit still. Living in this world, who could truly do whatever they wanted and roam the world freely. Even the emperor could not. If one really wanted to live as he pleased, he would need to be the best in the world in martial arts and be alone without any worries. But if that was the case, so what if he was the best in the world? He would be lonely and doing as he pleased. Chu Li said, I'll take action secretly and see if I can kill a few grandmasters. I'll leave the rest to Master Co. Tying. Chu Li, you don't have to worry anymore. Co. Tying said in a low voice, if we can't even do this, then we're too useless. Chu Li said, this time, we'll make a name for ourselves and also clear the obstacles for the wedding. This time, we'll completely put their thoughts to rest. Co. Tying nodded slowly. Chu Li closed fists, saluted, and left. 5 days later, 9 Spirits Hill was annihilated. 9 days later, Golden Blade faction was annihilated. 12 days later, Green Hill suffered heavy losses. More than 100 disciples and 2 grandmasters died. 15 days later, Huanjian's sect was annihilated. 16 days later, Fenghuang Mountain suffered heavy losses. More than 100 disciples and 3 grandmasters died. At this point, 3 second-rate martial arts factions vanished. 2 first-rate martial arts factions, Green Hill and Fenghuang Mountain, suffered heavy losses. They would not be able to recover within 50 years. Chapter 452. P.S. I realize that everyone's appetite has been spoiled, so I plan to resume 6 chapters. Early in the morning, Chu Li was cultivating in the courtyard of the Secret Guardian's Hall when Su Huanda strode in. Chu Li glanced at him and continued with his practice. Su Wanda sat by the stone table. Chuli, you can come out now. Chuli smiled. There's no rush. I'm in a good state now. I'll go into isolation for a while. It's much better here than in the Imperial residence. It's really quiet. Su Wanda said coldly. Were you the one who killed those 2 secret guardians? What secret guardians? Chuli was stunned and stopped what he was doing. Then he came to a realization. Oh, the 2 that sent the message to the public house's opponents? What happened to them? Su Wanda scoffed. Their martial arts were crippled. Only their martial arts were crippled? Chuli continued what he was doing. He shook his head and sighed. Master Xiao Taiying is so merciful. If it were me, I'd just kill them and bury them in a secluded place. No one can say anything. Su Wanda's eyes were sharp as he stared at him, trying to see if he was telling the truth. Chu Li said, Commander Su suspects me? How would I know who they are? I've been staying here all day. How could I kill them? Oomph. Su Wanda gritted his teeth. It better not be you, or else. Chu Li slowly moved his palms and said slowly, Since you let me out, it must be quiet outside. What's the situation? Su Wanda said coldly. It's not a good thing for the public house to be so arrogant. Chu Li said, The public house's arrogance will make the emperor wary. However, the emperor will be wary even if they're arrogant or not. Are the 2 secret guardians okay? They won't die. Su Wanda scoffed. He was also annoyed with the 2 of them. They acted on their own and had personal grudges mixed in. They were so selfish that they caused such a huge disturbance. Even if their martial arts were not crippled, they would not be treated well when they returned to the secret guardians' hall. Chu Li slowly stopped and exhaled. The white gas that he exhaled was like an arrow that shot 10 feet away before dissipating. Su Wanda frowned. This fellow's inner force was extremely pure, and it was slightly better than his own. It had only been 15 days, but the speed of his advancement was far above his own. If this continued, he would soon be no match for him. A handsome young man appeared in front of the imperial residence of King In. He had an imposing appearance and stood there like a jade tree in the wind. Naturally, he would attract the attention of the people around him. He was in high spirits. When he arrived at the imperial residence of King In, the 2 protectors looked at him cautiously. They could feel the danger that he emitted. May I ask who young master is looking for? A guard cupped his fists and asked in a deep voice. I am Meng Jian, Meng Ji's brother. I wonder if my younger brother, Meng Ji, is in a residence? The handsome young man closed fists, saluted, and smiled. Deputy Commander Meng? The 2 guards were startled and looked at each other. Did something happen to my brother? Meng Jian asked slowly. His face darkened, and his voice was slow but powerful. Every word seemed to knock on the hearts of the 2 guards. They trembled and hurriedly waved their hands. The guard in front of him hurriedly said, Deputy Commander Meng has left the residence and hasn't returned yet. How long has it been? Meng Jian asked in a low voice. More than a month. I would like to see the Royal Highness, said Meng Jian. Young Master Meng, we can't make the decision on our own. All right, go ahead. A guard hurriedly ran into the imperial residence. Chief Zhu quickly strode out and closed fists saluted the moment he stepped out of the residence. He was all smiles. Young Master Meng, please come in. Please come in. Meng Jian closed fists saluted and smiled faintly. Chief Zhu said, Calling me old? That's enough. I am now the chief of the outer residence. Young Master Meng, please come in. Chief Zhu. Meng Jian nodded gently and followed Chief Zhu into the imperial residence. On the way, Meng Jian asked, I heard that my younger brother has left the residence for more than a month. Did something happen? This, I really don't know. Commander Meng reports directly to His Royal Highness. I have no right to ask. His Royal Highness is currently in seclusion. I don't know if the commander knows about this. I'll go get Commander Zheng immediately. Chief Zhu said helplessly. He brought Meng Jian into the main hall and ordered someone to serve Zheng Lide. Then he attentively served good tea. Zheng Lide quickly entered the main hall. Commander Zheng, this is Commander Meng's brother, young Master Meng Jian. Chief Zhu took the opportunity to leave after the introductions. Zheng Lide said, I've heard from Commander Meng that young Master Meng Jian is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. He sighed to himself that Meng Ji had a good brother. He was talented and had an impressive aura. He was definitely not an ordinary person. I am. Meng Jian closed fist saluted and said gently. He was calm and quiet. His voice was soothing and unhurried. Sigh. I'm sorry for Commander Meng. There's still no news of Commander Meng. He must have met with an accident. Zheng Lid shook his head and sighed. My younger brother is dead? Meng Jian frowned. We haven't seen him, dead or alive. It's hard to explain the situation. Zheng Lid said. He shook his head and sighed. What did my brother do? I'd like to ask His Royal Highness in person. Meng Jian said. His Royal Highness is in seclusion. Young Master Meng, you can wait for a while. You can ask when His Royal Highness is out of seclusion. Zheng Lid said. Looks like His Royal Highness doesn't care about my brother's life or death. You haven't sent anyone to investigate, right? Meng Jian said. His Royal Highness is naturally concerned about Commander Meng and ordered me to investigate. There are no clues at all. It's like he disappeared in a thin air. Zheng Lid shook his head. Does my brother have any enemies? Meng Jian asked. Zheng Lid was stunned. He wanted to say something, but stopped himself. Meng Jian said calmly, Commander Zheng was my brother's colleague. Are you going to watch as the murderer roams free and unfettered? We haven't seen Commander Meng's corpse yet. We can't be sure that he's dead. Maybe he had a fortuitous encounter and is now in seclusion. Zheng Lid quickly said. Meng Jian shook his head. My brother is no longer in this world. His senses were sharp. After stepping into the imperial residence, he could finally conclude that his brother was dead. His aura no longer existed in this world. Sigh. What a pity. I got along well with Elder Meng. How could he? Never mind. This is the fate of us martial artists. Zheng Lid shook his head. I would like to see His Royal Highness. Meng Jian said. His Royal Highness is in seclusion and does not see visitors. Zheng Lid said. I think His Royal Highness will see me. Meng Jian said. All right then. Let's ask revered Sir Su Ning first. Young Master Meng, please follow me. Zheng Lid said. The two of them arrived outside the cultivation courtyard. Su Ning was dressed in a yellow monk's robe. His eyes were closed as he sat quietly on the cattail hassock outside the cultivation courtyard. He was motionless and had already entered a meditative state. When the two of them appeared, Su Ning slowly opened his eyes. His clear gaze landed on Meng Jian's face. He pressed his palms together. Almsgiver Meng, from the Titanium Temple? Meng Jian asked. Su Ning said, I am Su Ning. Almsgiver Meng wishes to see His Royal Highness. Please wait for an hour. All right. I never thought that a monk from the Titanium Temple would appear in the imperial residence. Meng Jian nodded slowly. Su Ning smiled and pressed his palms together before closing his eyes again. Meng Jian scoffed and did not say anything else. Zheng Lid quickly bid farewell and left. Chapter 453. P.S. Recommending the Dark Eggplant's Sovereign Celestial Dynasty. It has its own unique charm. P.S. It's 6 o'clock today. Meng Jian kept looking at Su Ning. As a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain, he naturally knew about the Titanium Temple. The disciples of the Titanium Temple were all detached from a mortal world. They were carefree and only lived for one purpose in this world, to cultivate and become a Buddha. Everything they did was for cultivation. The 10 lifetimes of Buddhahood would allow them to become a Buddha sooner or later and enter the Titanium Temple in the 30th heaven. It was said that the difference between the Titanium Temple there and the Titanium Temple here was like the difference between the fairy's capital and a village in the countryside. The disciples of the Titanium Temple usually did not care about worldly affairs. Even if they stepped into the mortal world, it was only to train their state of mind and for cultivation. They would not lust for riches and glory. Who would have thought that Su Ning would serve the prince's mansion? Su Ning suddenly opened his eyes and said, Almsgiver Meng, allow me to report to His Royal Highness. Please, said Meng Jian. Su Ning pushed open the door to the cultivation courtyard. A moment later, he bowed with pressed palms. Almsgiver Meng, His Royal Highness requests your presence. Meng Jian stepped into the cultivation courtyard. Kingen was dressed in a purple robe. He stood in the middle of the courtyard with his hands behind his back and looked at Meng Jian. A faint smile hung on his handsome face. His gaze was calm, and his body exuded a peaceful aura. Meng Jian suspected that the person in front of him was not a royal highness, but a Buddhist monk. Meng Jian closed fist saluted. Meng Jian greets His Royal Highness. Young Master Meng, you don't have to be so courteous. You're not an outsider. Please take a seat. Kingen pointed at the stone table beside him. Yes, said Meng Jian. Both of them sat at the stone table. Su Ning stood not far away, motionless like a tree. Meng Jian glanced at Su Ning and felt strange. Su Ning was a disciple of the Titanium Temple. His status was not ordinary. How could he lower himself and call himself a scribe? His Royal Highness, I would like to ask how my brother died, said Meng Jian slowly. Kingen frowned. Are you sure he is dead? Meng Jian nodded. Kingen said, actually, he left the imperial residence on his own. I didn't let him leave the imperial residence. After that, there was no news of him. I sent people to investigate, but there were no clues. I really don't know what happened to him. It seems like he was killed. He sighed and shook his head. Meng Ji is a rare talent. He helped me a lot. What a pity. Meng Jian asked, did you have any enemies when you were alive? As the deputy commander of the imperial residence, it's inevitable for him to offend people. Kingen frowned and said, but if we're talking about enemies, they probably wouldn't go as far as to kill him. Does younger brother have an enemy? Asked Meng Jian. Prince pondered for a moment and finally said, I really don't have any enemies. It's just some ordinary small matters. It's not worth it to fight to the death. Meng Jian replied, there must be some. Why don't your Royal Highness speak frankly? He had some conflicts with the chief steward of the mansion, but it was all official business. Prince shook his head and said, it was also under my orders. I asked him to suppress the head chief, but he was taught a lesson by the head chief. Head chief? I would like to meet this head chief. Meng Jian furrowed his brows. Kingen looked at Su Ning. Su Ning pressed his palms together and bowed. Your Royal Highness, the head chief has been in isolated cultivation in the Secret Guardian's Hall for half a month now. Oh, he's now a secret guardian of the Imperial House. Kingen smiled. Young Master Meng, you mustn't offend him. Then I would like to wait for this chief steward in the manor. Of course you're welcome. Kingen smiled. With a master like you around, I can cultivate with peace of mind. As for the head chief, Su Ning, send someone to find out when the head chief will return to the residence. Your Royal Highness, I heard that the head chief is in isolated cultivation and won't see anyone. Su Ning pressed his palms together. That's true. The head chief never sees anyone when he's cultivating. Kingen nodded. Su Ning slowly said, the news from the Secret Guardian's Hall is that the head chief has been imprisoned by the Secret Guardian's Hall. It looks like he's in isolated cultivation, but he's actually grounded. Kingen frowned. Did he offend the Secret Guardian's Hall again? The princess killed 2 secret guardians of the Imperial House. How can the Secret Guardian's Hall be friendly to the head chief? Su Ning said, he's arrogant and presumptuous. With that temper of his, do you think he'll get anything good from the Secret Guardian's Hall? Kingen scoffed. Meng Jian could hear Kingen's dissatisfaction towards the head chief. Meng Jian's mind raced, but his expression did not change. He calmly said, it's all right. I have nothing to do down the mountain anyway. I could take a stroll around the fairy's capital. You don't have to be restrained in the imperial residence. Just do as you please. If there's anything, just look for me. Kingen said. Thank you, your Royal Highness, Meng Jian said. It's not easy for the disciples of the Amethyst Mountain to leave the mountain. Young Master Meng must be a genius to be able to leave the mountain. I wonder what plans young Master Meng has. Kingen said slowly. I wanted to meet my brother first. I didn't expect him to meet with an accident. I'll avenge him first before anything else. Meng Jian said. Kingen eagerly said, how about coming to the imperial residence to help? Although I won't have as much freedom, it'll be easier to cultivate. You'll be able to come into contact with masters from all over the world in the fairy's capital. You'll be able to broaden your horizons, and it'll be beneficial to your cultivation. Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Meng Jian was a little surprised. He did not expect King and to recruit him so straightforwardly. Meng Jian closed fists, saluted, and smiled. We'll talk about it after I've avenged myself. I have no other thoughts for now. All right, the Amethyst Mountain has always been mysterious. Once young Master Meng's identity is revealed, everyone will want to meet you. King nodded. I'll keep my identity a secret, Meng Jian said. King smiled. Meng Jian closed fists, saluted. I'll take my leave now. I won't disturb your Royal Highness cultivation anymore. Good. When I'm out of seclusion, we'll have a good chat. King closed fists, saluted. Yes. Meng Jian stood up and left. Su Ning sent him out of the hospital. When he returned, he saw King An's joyful expression. King smiled. Revered sir, he's suspicious of Chu Li, right? Yes. This person is stubborn and conceited. He won't let head Chief Chu go. Su Ning nodded. No matter how smart Chu Li is, he won't know that I'll have such a plan. Speaking of killing with a borrowed knife, he still needs to practice. My technique is the true killing with a borrowed knife. It's invisible and traceless. Su Ning smiled faintly and declined to comment. He did not think that Chu Li was ignorant. Even if he knew, he would not dare to kill King An himself. The key was not King An. As long as the Emperor was here, Chu Li would not dare to kill King An. He found it interesting. Would King An kill Chu Li, or would Chu Li kill King in the end? To be able to witness this show, his trip to the imperial residence was not in vain. In the courtyard of the Secret Guardians Hall, Chu Li and Su Huanda were engaged in a verbal battle. Chu Li, I have a piece of news to tell you in advance. Just in case you're caught off guard, Su Huanda said. Thank you very much, Commander Su. Chu Li asked, what news? Meng Jian from the Amethyst Mountain has arrived at the fairy's capital. He'll probably enter the imperial residence of King An today. You should know how powerful a disciple from the Amethyst Mountain is, right? Chu Li raised his eyebrows. It's finally here. There are no two suns in the sky. You're the head chief with a high position and authority. However, in terms of martial arts, you might not be better than Meng Jian, Su Huanda said. Why do you think so? We'll only know after we fight, right? Chu Li asked. If a disciple from the Amethyst Mountain wants to descend the mountain, it's the same as the Titanium Temple. If Meng Jian could descend the mountain, of course, he possesses an antique martial art. You're not on good terms with King and will probably use him to deal with you. Chu Li smiled. Su Huanda said, when that time comes, the Secret Guardians Hall will be your shield. Chapter 454. Su Huanda scoffed. How is this profiteering from a burning house? A loyal subject can only be judged when he's in trouble. This is to let you understand who's on our side. The imperial residence isn't reliable, and the Secret Guardians Hall is the one you should rely on. Chu Li smiled. The imperial residence may not be reliable, but the Secret Guardians Hall may not be reliable either. As long as you're worthy of the Secret Guardians Hall, the Secret Guardians Hall will definitely be worthy of you. Su Huanda said coldly. It said that being in the king's company is like being in the company of Tiger. Why has the Secret Guardians Hall been able to exist until now? It's all about unity. Chu Li shook his head disapprovingly. When Su Huanda saw that he was unmoved by persuasion or force, he said impatiently, You really don't know how to appreciate favors. If it weren't for your ability, would the Secret Guardians Hall have tolerated you until now? I've already thought of a way to deal with you. Chu Li smiled. Commander Su, I would like to know, in the fairy's capital, other than Meng Jian, is there anyone else from the Amethyst Mountain? Fairy's capital also has someone from Amethyst Mountain, Su Huanda said. Zhang Ci, the Imperial House High Official. How's your martial arts? Unfathomable. I didn't see him make a move. Looks like the martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain are indeed unique. If there's a chance, I'd like to experience it for myself. We better not have that chance. Su Huanda shook his head and said, Otherwise, it's hard to say whether you can live or not. How could the Secret Guardians Hall not have the martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain? Chu Li asked. Su Huanda said, "No, even if there is, it's in the secret vault of the imperial house. It's not for us to see." "What a pity. I will be careful when dealing with this Meng Jian," said Chu Li. "Did you kill Meng Ji?" Su Huanda suddenly asked. Chu Li was startled. He could not help but laugh. "Commander Su, you're still concerned about this? If it's really you who killed them, then it'll be troublesome." Su Huanda said, "If you didn't kill him, then you'll have to explain things clearly to Meng Jian to avoid going against him. Of the 4 major sects, other than the Titanium Temple, the rest are all the same. They can't bear to see their own disciples being taken advantage of. If the young ones are beaten, the old ones will come. Endless trouble." Chu Li nodded. "All right, you can come out now. Let's wait a little longer. Maybe Meng Jian will leave on his own." Chu Li smiled. "You're really up to no good," Su Huanda said snappily. "You want to use the secret Guardian's Hall to deal with him, don't you?" If Meng Jian grew impatient in the imperial residence, he might come to the secret Guardian's Hall to look for him. If that happened, the secret Guardian's Hall would have no choice but to deal with him for the sake of their own reputation. Chu Li laughed. "Let's see if he dares to go against the secret Guardian's Hall." "Chu Li, how about this?" Su Huanda said, "If you can find 2 disciples of the Holy Church of Light, we'll hand Meng Jian over to the secret Guardian's Hall. We'll think of a way to get rid of him. How about it?" Chu Li shook his head. "I'm really not confident. This was obviously a trap. If he really agreed to it, it would mean that he was confident in finding the disciples of the Holy Church of Light. If he had the confidence but did not do it, he would naturally have ulterior motives. Fu Mengshan would then be able to find an excuse to force him to look for the disciples of the Holy Church of Light to prove his innocence. Compared to the Amethyst Mountain, he feared the Holy Church of Light more. They were a bunch of lunatics and unreasonable. No matter what, he had to deal with them after the eldest master's wedding. If he made a move now, the eldest master's wedding would most likely be over. "You." Su Huanda pointed at him and shook his head. "All right, it's up to you. Stay here if you want to." Chu Li coughed lightly. "Does that mean the secret Guardian's Hall has a way to get rid of Meng Jian?" Su Huanda said, "We'll just help him find Meng Ji's murderer." "That's a good idea." Chu Li smiled. "Since you're unwilling, there's no other way. If you really can't beat Meng Jian, you can come back for help. The secret Guardian's Hall will never leave our own people in the lurch." Su Huanda stood up. Chu Li smiled and nodded. He could feel Su Huanda's sincerity. Unfortunately, the secret Guardian's Hall's idea was not going to work. He could not agree to it and could only apologize to himself. Su Huanda's face was as cold as steel, but his thoughts were pure and impartial. He was unlike Commander Fu Mengshan, who had a warm smile and made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. However, he was cold and emotionless and only cared about benefits. Meng Jian was dressed in white and sat quietly at the stone table in the courtyard, sipping tea. Beside him was a maid who was brewing tea. He sipped the tea and seemed to be deep in thought. Chief Zhu hurriedly entered the courtyard and closed fists saluted. "Young Master Meng, did you rest well last night? Did you fail to entertain us?" Meng Jian put down his tea and closed fists saluted. "Very well. What did the princess say?" "This. Please forgive me, young Master Meng. The princess does not see guests, especially male guests." Chief Zhu looked awkward. His Royal Highness is in seclusion and the princess does not see guests? Meng Jian smiled faintly. Chief Zhu said, "If there really is an important guest, the head chief will personally appear. Young Master Meng is an important guest, but the head chief is also in seclusion." "I'm really sorry. The princess also said that she has neglected you. Please forgive her, young Master Meng. It is inconvenient for her to meet you because you're a male guest." How interesting. I heard that the princess is the second young lady of the public house and is considered a daughter of the martial arts world. Yet, she still maintains the etiquette between men and women. Meng Jian's smile widened. Chief Zhu quickly said, "The princess does not know martial arts. She does not show her face in the High Duke's public house." "I see. I have been rash," Meng Jian said. "When the head chief returns from seclusion, he will definitely see young Master Meng." Chief Zhu quickly smiled. Then I shall wait. Chief Zhu, please don't blame me for disturbing you. Meng Jian smiled. Not at all, not at all. Young Master Meng can stay in the imperial residence. I'm old. I can't be happier. Without the head chief around, I always feel that the imperial residence's protectors are not reassuring. It's so much better with young Master Meng around. Is the imperial residence not peaceful? Meng Jian slowly raised his teacup and took a sip. Yes, there are always people who want to assassinate the princess. The princess is so gentle and beautiful. These people can really do it, Chief Zhu said hatefully. Gentle and beautiful. Meng Jian smiled. Chief Zhu, Lady Lu is here. She wants to see the princess. Someone reported from outside. All right, I'll go now, Chief Zhu quickly said. Meng Jian said, Lady Lu? She must be someone important to be able to see the princess. The eldest young lady of the Ren public house. Young Master Meng, I have to excuse myself for a while. This is my duty, and I can't help myself. So, it's Lady Lu from the Ren public house. I want to meet this Lady Lu, too. I'll go with you. Meng Jian smiled. I'm afraid it's not polite. Chief Zhu hesitated and smiled bitterly. Just treat it as a coincidence. I heard that this Lady Lu is shockingly beautiful. She is not inferior to the princess. Meng Jian said. All right. Chief Zhu reluctantly agreed. Meng Jian said, You go first. I'll go later. All right. Chief Zhu smiled bitterly and nodded. He left in a hurry. When he ran outside, Lu Yurong had already entered the residence. Her face was covered with a white veil, and she wore a bluish-white gown. She walked as if she was walking on water, graceful and elegant. Lung Ying and two maids followed beside her. Lu Yurong saw him rushing over and said, Old Master Meng, what's the rush? Chapter 455. That's enough. Lu Yurong waved her hand and said lightly, Is the princess awake? The princess is taking a stroll, Chief Zhu answered. Lu Yurong nodded lightly. Her steps were graceful, like a willow in the wind. Lung Ying asked, Where's the head chief? Is he still in seclusion? Chief Zhu answered, Not yet. How long is he going to be in seclusion? Lung Ying pouted. Chief Zhu smiled bitterly. How would we know what the head chief is thinking? Lung Ying said, I think he just wants to slack off. Lu Yurong chuckled. Xiaoying is right. He's just slacking off. He thinks that there are too many things to do in the imperial residence, and that it disturbs his training. Now, he's thrown everything away and gone into seclusion. His martial arts must have improved by another level. Chief Zhu's smile became even more bitter. That's because the residence has been quiet recently. If something really happened and the head chief was not around, it would be a mess. All right, young Master Meng Jian came to the residence yesterday and wants to see the head chief. Meng Jian? He came? Lu Yurong raised her brows. Yes, young Master Meng also wants to see the princess. The princess does not want to see him, Chief Zhu said quietly. That temper of hers. He is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain after all. How can she not see him? Yes. Chief Zhu nodded. Amethyst Mountain? The Amethyst Mountain of the four major sects? Lung Ying asked curiously. Yes. Chief Zhu nodded. Lung Ying said she should see him. Chief Zhu sighed. The princess will not go back on her words. As scribes, we will not be able to change her mind. Lady Lu and Lady Ying, please persuade her. I don't care about these things. Did you receive some benefits from him? Lu Yurong glanced at him. Ouch. I am innocent. Lady Lu, I just feel that the princess' actions are too offensive. Young Master Meng's identity is not normal. He cannot be offended like this. Chief Zhu cried. You really have the time to worry. Co Shi is not an idiot. Lu Yurong smiled. Chief Zhu quickly said, Yes, I'm being a busybody. The five of them walked on the cobbled path, and there was a turn in front of them. As soon as they turned the corner, they saw a handsome young man in a blue robe walking with his hands behind his back. His pace was slow and calm, and his expression was calm. Young Master Meng, Chief Zhu hurriedly said. Meng Ji closed fist saluted. He calmly looked at Lu Yurong's face and nodded lightly. Lady Lu, this is young Master Meng Jian, a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. Chief Zhu quickly introduced. Lu Yurong glared at Chief Zhu. Chief Zhu quickly smiled apologetically. Miss Lu, Meng Jian greets you. Meng Jian closed fists saluted and smiled at Lung Ying. Lung Ying curtsied back. Lu Yurong said, Master Meng, what a coincidence. She had seen through Meng Jian's ploy in one glance and was displeased. Meng Jian smiled and said, I have long heard of Lady Lu's great name and specially waited here. Please forgive my impetuousness, Lady Lu. Seeing that he was being honest, Lu Yurong nodded slightly. It's just a lowly name. It's not worth mentioning. May I know why young Master Meng is here? I originally wanted to visit my younger brother, but I didn't expect him to be gone. Meng Jian sighed and looked sad. He sighed melancholically. We brothers haven't seen each other for 10 years, but we're already separated forever. Lu Yurong said, My condolences, young Master Meng. As a member of the martial arts world, it's inevitable. Yes, Meng Jian slowly said. As his elder brother, I have to avenge him to comfort his soul in heaven. Young Master Meng, please take your time to investigate. I'll take my leave first. She left gracefully, and Lung Ying quickly followed. Before entering the moon gate, she turned her head to take a look. Cousin sister, he's still staring at you. He must be infatuated with you. Lung Ying laughed softly. Lu Yurong said, I'm wearing a veil. He can't see my face clearly. What nonsense. You didn't see his gaze. He's definitely interested in you, cousin sister. I think he's stronger than head Chief Chu. Oh, in what way? Lu Yurong laughed. Look at how gentle and refined he is. He's not arrogant just because he's a disciple of a noble family. Lung Ying wrinkled her nose and scoffed. He's not as arrogant as Chu Li. She always had a grudge against Chu Li and would take the opportunity to insult him. Lu Yurong shook her head and smiled. Your eyes. What do you think, cousin sister? Is he not as good as Chu Li? Lung Ying asked. You can't judge a person by their appearance. Lu Yurong said, he looks gentle and refined, but deep in his bones, he is arrogant and looks down on everyone in the world. Is that so? But he's a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. He has the right to be arrogant, right? Lung Ying was surprised. He's a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain, but is a disciple from the 4 major sects the number one in the world? Not necessarily. Lu Yurong said. That's true. Lung Ying trusted her cousin and smiled. He's definitely here to cause trouble for Chu Li. 2 fierce beasts in the same mountain. They're bound to fight, right? She pursed her lips and smiled. Now that's interesting. Chu Li should be taught a lesson. Lu Yurong kept walking. That's not necessarily true. They can't fight. Lung Ying asked. Lu Yurong said. Chu Li might not be taught a lesson. All right, we're here. Chief Zhu pretended to be deaf and did not say a word. He sighed in relief when he saw the Tianshu courtyard. He closed fists, saluted, and left. Xiao Shi was wearing a white robe. She was strolling in the courtyard. Her bright eyes looked at the sky from time to time, as if she was deep in thought. Xue Ling and Yang Su stood at the side, serving tea and snacks. They did not know what Xiao Shi was doing. Seeing Lu Yurong and Yang Su came in, Xiao Shi said, What are you here for again? Lu Yurong did not hold back. When is Chu Li coming back? How would I know? Xiao Shi said. Lu Yurong waved her hand, indicating that Xue Ling and Yang Su did not have to be so polite. She came to the stone table and sat down. I want to settle the score with Chu Li. Did he trick you again? Or do you want to trick him again? Xiao Shi said. He borrowed a master from me. One of them is heavily injured and needs to rest for a month. I'm here to ask him how he wants to compensate me. Lu Yurong scoffed. How do you want to compensate him? Xiao Shi asked. Lu Yurong said, Follow me to the High Duke's public house, a disciple of the Holy Church of Light. He has agreed. Xiao Shi said. Lu Yurong shook her head. 2. Either one, or he has to find a way to heal that person's injuries within 3 days. These are the only 2 conditions. Pick one and you can't change it. Xiao Shi said. He can really come back. Lu Yurong scoffed. She knew Chu Li's light body technique. She did not believe that he could be trapped by the secret guardian's hall. Co sure said. You don't have to worry about this. Have a safe trip. I won't be seeing you out. What about Meng Jian? This is a big problem. The Amethyst Mountain, Lu Yurong said. You have a way? Co sure frowned at her. Chapter 456. What way? Scoffed Co sure. She regretted it as soon as she asked. It was a waste of time. It would be weird if Lu Yurong would tell her. Lu Yurong smiled. From what I know, Meng Jian has opponents too. Co sure looked at her. Are you that kind? 2. I only need 2 and I can get rid of Meng Jian. Lu Yurong smiled. You don't have that many in your residence. You think too highly of yourself. Scoffed Co sure. Lu Yurong said. Not the Holy Church of Light. Anything else will do. All right, I promise you. Think of a way to get rid of Meng Jian, so he won't be an annoyance in the residence. Said Co sure. Lu Yurong said. You should know that this is just a temporary solution. You will still find Chu Li in the end. Co sure said. Once he has a firm foothold in the Secret Guardian's Hall, Meng Jian will be nothing. That's true. Lu Yurong nodded and sighed. I didn't expect Second Lady Co to be so smart and powerful. Chu Li's position in the Secret Guardian's Hall would be awkward, but it was also an opportunity. Once he has a firm foothold, he would have the help of the Secret Guardian's Hall, and it would be like adding wings to a tiger. If this was Co sure's plan, then she would have to admit defeat. Same here, said Co sure. She was just going with the flow. The situation had developed this way, and the Emperor's decision was out of her expectations. Lung Ying looked at Lu Yurong and Co sure and pouted. Compared to them, she was a fool. She could not understand what they were saying. It was as if they were talking in riddles. Let's go. Lu Yurong turned and left. Co sure waved her hand. Shuai Ling and Yang Su nodded and sent them out of the Tianshu courtyard all the way to the entrance of the imperial residence. On their way back to the Tianshu courtyard, Meng Jian suddenly appeared and blocked their way. He closed fists saluted with a handsome smile. Are the 2 ladies the consort's maids? Yes, who are you? Asked Yang Su gently. Meng Jian smiled. I am Meng Jian. I would like to see the consort. I hope the 2 ladies can help me. Yang Su was stunned and shook her head. Young Master Meng, the consort does not see male guests. Is there something you need? We can pass on the message to Wang Fei. Very well. I would like to meet Chief Chu, said Meng Jian. That's unfortunate. Yang Su shook her head and smiled. The head chief is currently in isolated cultivation at the Secret Guardian's Hall. Young Master, you can try going to the Secret Guardian's Hall. Meng Jian's burning gaze swept across the 2 ladies as if he could see through their hearts. I wonder when Chief Chu will come out of seclusion? How would we know as maids? Yang Su smiled and said, the head chief isn't sure either. It could be a month, or it could be 2 months. It depends on the situation of his cultivation. Thank you very much. Meng Jian smiled. Yang Su smiled and said, Young Master Meng, you don't have to be so polite. Meng Jian watched as the 2 girls disappeared into the moon gate. The smile on his face disappeared and was replaced with a cold smile. He had the secret skill of Amethyst Mountain. At night, he would appear silently outside the house of the maidservants and imperial guards. He would eavesdrop on the corners of the walls and gather information. Through everyone's private discussions, he already knew that before his brother left the imperial residence, he seemed to have poisoned the Wang Fei and almost killed her. Since his brother had done such a thing, he naturally had to escape and sneak out of the imperial residence. Unfortunately, in the end, he could not escape from the Wang Fei and was killed by her. No matter how beautiful Princess Co was, she was the first beauty of the Great Ji dynasty. Since she killed his brother, he had to kill her to avenge his brother. Unfortunately, Chu Li did not return. He did not have to guess much to know that since it was Princess Co's assassination, the one who executed it must be Chu Li, the most loyal lackey. If he wanted to comfort his brother's soul in heaven, he would kill both of them. As for the fact that Chu Li's martial arts was powerful, he did not think much of it. From his perspective, the 4 major sects and the martial arts world were not on the same level. The key was martial arts. The martial arts of the 4 major sects were worlds apart from the rest of the sections. Cultivating the martial arts of the four major sects would allow one to ascend to the enlightened mastery's boundary. As for the other sects in the martial arts world, becoming a grandmaster was already considered extremely lucky. The grandmaster was only the starting point of the four major sects' martial arts. It only existed for the sake of becoming an enlightened master. Chu Li was born in the public house and cultivated the martial arts of the public house. No matter how powerful the public house was, it could not compare to the four major sections. Even if they could steal the martial arts of the four major sects, they would not be able to cultivate it well. Chu Li's fame today was mostly due to his intelligence and his ability to do things. Furthermore, he was young. The same martial arts on an elder would not be as impressive. He paced with his hands behind his back and slowly returned to the courtyard. He had some concerns about the Secret Guardian's Hall. It was not a wise move to go there to kill people. Provoking the Secret Guardian's Hall would be asking for trouble. He slowly sat by the stone table and smiled. Seeing the two women, he knew the location of the Tianshu courtyard. He would go explore at night to see if there was a chance to kill Co Shi and lure Chu Li out. After killing Chu Li, he would leave the fairy's capital and live a carefree life. Princeton was rather afraid of Chu Li and had the intention to kill him. If he killed him, it would be in line with his wishes. He might not really send people to kill him, it would just be for show. After all, he was born in the Amethyst Mountain. It was a pity for Princess Co, the first beauty of the great Ji dynasty. He wondered how Princess Co compared to Lu Yurong. Although he could not see Lu Yurong's face clearly, looking at her graceful figure and alluring eyes, he knew that she was an absolute beauty. She had a cold, fairy-like temperament that was especially attractive to him. If he could bring her into his room, his 10 years of hard work in the Amethyst Mountain would not be in vain. Tonight, he wanted to see the beauty of Princess Co. He wanted to see how beautiful the first beauty of the great Ji dynasty was. As he was lost in his thoughts, footsteps came from outside. Chief Zhu's voice was heard. "Young Master Meng, a master wishes to see you." "Master?" Meng Jian frowned. When he heard the word monk, he immediately thought of the Tempest Temple. He asked, "Which sect is the monk from?" "The Tempest Temple," answered Chief Zhu respectfully. "I won't see him," said Meng Jian. "About Buddha." A Buddhist chant was heard. It was calm and leisurely, like a lake that slowly spread out and echoed throughout the entire imperial residence. "Almsgiver Meng, we meet again. Fa Wu, you're haunting me," Meng Jian said coldly. A young monk in a gray robe fluttered into the courtyard. He pressed his palms together and bowed. "Almsgiver Meng, you made it easy for me to find you." This monk in gray was about 20 years old. He was tall and straight with an average appearance. However, his nose was tall and straight, which added a sense of heroism to his average face. It was unforgettable. His eyes were calm and gentle, and he wore a faint smile. "Fa Wu, why must you make things difficult for me? I've always given face to the Tempest Temple and did not lower myself to your level. Don't be so ungrateful," Meng Jian said. "I've reached a bottleneck and would like to spar with a master of equal strength." Fa Wu smiled and said, "Benefactor Meng's martial arts are on par with this little monk's. It is the most suitable. This kind of sparring is not only beneficial to this little monk, but Benefactor Meng will also benefit from it. Why not? I'm not interested in fighting with you. If you don't leave, I'll have no choice but to use my trump card." Chapter 457. Meng Jian's face darkened as he stared at him coldly. Fa Wu's smile did not diminish. "Why is Almsgiver Meng staying in the imperial residence of King Yin? I want to kill someone," Meng Jian said in a low voice. About Buddha." Fa Wu placed his palms together and chanted the name of Buddha. He showed a compassionate expression and shook his head. Sins. Mortals suffer so much. Why must they commit such sins? They cannot be freed in the next life. Don't give me that. He killed my younger brother. How can I not avenge him?" Meng Jian waved his hand impatiently. "Revenge breeds revenge. When will it end? Why don't you take a step back? He killed your younger brother. there will be a calamity waiting for him. Isn't it better to watch him receive his retribution and not be tainted by karma? Fa Wu sighed. I don't have that patience. Besides, I don't believe in your tricks. Karma. Anyway, don't provoke me. After I have my revenge, we can spar. Who does almsgiver Meng want to kill? Fa Wu asked. Meng Jian stared at him cautiously. Why, you want to stop me? I will help that almsgiver redeem his soul. Let him return to the cycle of reincarnation and not suffer the pain of loneliness. Fa Wu said, hypocritical mercy. Your Tempest Temple is the most vicious. You even chant scriptures and worship Buddha all day long. Meng Jian said coldly. Fa Wu shook his head and sighed. Almsgiver Meng has misunderstood my temple. My temple only kills to subdue demons and in karma. If I don't go to hell, who will? Forget it. Meng Jian curled his lips in disdain. He understood the Tempest Temple's viciousness the best. Among the 4 major sects, the Tempest Temple was the most overbearing and could not tolerate any disobedience. Right? Almsgiver Meng has not said which almsgiver you want to kill. Chu Li, the head chief of King An's imperial residence. Have you heard of this name? Almsgiver Chu Li from the public house? Fa Wu pressed his palms together. Meng Jian nodded slowly. Fa Wu looked at Meng Jian in shock. Meng Jian felt goosebumps from his stare and scoffed. What are you looking at? Almsgiver Meng, you want to kill almsgiver Chu Li from the public house? Fa Wu asked slowly. He enunciated every word clearly, as if he was afraid that Meng Jian could not hear him clearly. He stared at him seriously. That's right. Meng Jian frowned. What's wrong? Could it be that you've also heard of his name? Almsgiver Meng. Fa Wu shook his head and sighed. I advise almsgiver Meng to turn his hostility into peace. Forget it. He killed my brother. Meng Jian said coldly. You must be joking. Forget it? I'm already being merciful by killing him so quickly. Fa Wu sighed. Benefactor Meng, you can't kill Benefactor Chu. You know him too? Scoffed Meng Jian. Fa Wu said, I have a senior apprentice brother. His talent is unparalleled. He is the #1 in the Fa generation. Fa Yuan, right? I heard he's extremely powerful, said Meng Jian. Yes. Fa Wu pressed his palms together and bowed. Senior brother Fa Yuan and I are worlds apart. I cannot catch up to you. If there's a chance, I'd like to see it for myself, said Meng Jian. Fa Wu said, I couldn't even withstand a single blow from senior brother Fa Yuan. Almsgiver Meng couldn't either. It can't be. Is Fa Yuan really that powerful? You can't even withstand a single blow? How could he be that powerful? A monk does not lie. Almsgiver Meng couldn't defeat my senior brother Fa Yuan either, said Fa Wu slowly. That might not be the case. He's familiar with your martial arts, but not me, said Meng Jian, unconvinced. Senior brother Fa Yuan's talent is unparalleled, and he was born with wisdom. No matter how profound the martial arts, he could learn it the moment he learned it and master it. He's like a celestial being. We're all geniuses of the secular world. We can't compare to senior brother Fa Yuan. Meng Jian was even more unconvinced. If he could break out of the Amethyst Mountain, it meant that he could move freely in the world and would not be in danger. No matter how powerful Fa Yuan was, he could not be stronger than the seniors and uncles of the Amethyst Mountain. Fa Wu said, senior brother Fa Yuan had chased after almsgiver Chu several times and returned empty-handed. The temple has now given up on pursuing him. You mean to say that the one with the surname Chu is stronger than Fa Yuan? Meng Jian frowned and stared at Fa Wu. Fa Wu slowly nodded. Impossible. He cultivated the martial arts of the High Duke's public house. Scoffed Meng Jian. Even if the martial arts he cultivated were not top-notch, he could unleash a powerful force. The gap between us and almsgiver Chu is too big. I advise almsgiver Meng not to humiliate yourself, said Fa Wu. You'll only know after you try, said Meng Jian coldly. He was already hesitating. Fa Wu would not lie to him. He had heard of Fa Yuan's reputation. He was known as a genius that appeared once in 100 years, the first master of the Tempest Temple. At such a young age, he had already cultivated several unique studies of the Tempest Temple. It was hard to believe that Fa Yuan could not defeat Chu Li. Fa Wu, let's work together and kill him. Didn't the Tempest Temple want to kill him? Scoffed Meng Jian. I don't want to kill him now. Fa Wu shook his head. Meng Jian frowned. That's because we can't kill him. If we work together, we can definitely kill him. Fa Wu laughed and shook his head. Almsgiver Meng, you've been blinded by hatred. Senior brother Fa Yuan didn't chase after Almsgiver Chu alone. He brought along several senior brothers from the Exorcist Academy. Even they couldn't kill him. So how could the two of us do it? I advise Almsgiver Meng to repent and stop being so stubborn. Even this can't kill him. Meng Jian pondered. Fa Wu thought that he had dispelled Meng Jian's murderous intent and smiled. You can only be at ease if you let go of your hatred. Almsgiver Meng, you should let it go. Put it down. Meng Jian laughed coldly. Since you can't kill him, then forget it. Fa Wu, I'm not in the mood to spar with you. Let's do it another day. Today is just right. Come on. Fa Wu said. Meng Jian said, if you really want to fight, I'll run. Where do you think you're going? Fa Wu pushed out his palm as soon as he finished speaking. An invisible force surged forth like a huge wave. Meng Jian's figure turned into an illusory shadow and disappeared in front of Fa Wu. Fa Wu gave chase. The two of them, one chasing and the other escaping, disappeared from the imperial residence of King and in the blink of an eye. When evening came, Meng Jian returned to the courtyard of the imperial residence of King and with a gloomy expression. After spending a day, he finally got rid of Fa Wu. This stupid monk was extremely tenacious and had a profound cultivation level. How annoying. There were countless times when he had a strong urge to use his trump card, but in the end, he restrained himself. This trump card was left for Co Shi. If Chu Li appeared, he would give it to him. He could not waste it on Fa Wu. As the night gradually approached, Meng Jian sat in the courtyard and watched as the night deepened. His heart became more and more restrained. The surging murderous intent was completely contained in his heart. Not a single trace of it was leaked out. As the night deepened, Meng Jian's figure became fainter and fainter. Gradually, it was as if he had turned into a shadow. His entire person disappeared, leaving only a faint swaying shadow. It was very strange. The Phantom skill was a unique secret skill of the Amethyst Mountain. It was similar to light body technique, but it was a level higher. It could turn into a shadow that could not be seen from the outside. With this skill, Meng Jian was most proficient in the art of assassination. Chapter 458. As the night deepened, he turned into a shadow and slowly floated out of the courtyard. He did not make a sound and did not alert the protectors outside. With his secret skill, he could come and go as he pleased. The heavily guarded imperial residence was like his backyard, as if he was walking on flat ground. As long as he wanted to, he could eavesdrop on anyone's house and obtain secret information. That was why he got the gist of what happened overnight and found what he wanted to know. The Tianshu courtyard was completely quiet. A bright moon hung in the sky, emitting a hazy glow. The surroundings seemed to be covered by a layer of light sand. Meng Jian turned into a shadow and slowly moved from the bottom of the wall into the courtyard. He saw that there were a total of 3 protectors around him, and there were another 4 not far away. 7 grandmasters. The security was tight, and he only had one chance to attack. If he failed, the protectors would rush over to protect Co Shi. Even if he could defeat them, he would have missed the chance to kill Co Shi. As he entered the Tianshu courtyard, his aura became more obscure. His murderous intent was hidden deep in his heart. A grandmaster's spiritual sense was sharp. If there was a murderous intent, even if they could not see him, they would be able to sense it and take precautions. Fortunately, the Amethyst Mountains technique was superb, and his secret skill was exquisite. He arrived at the courtyard without any obstructions. His next step was to rush into the house and kill Chu Li in one strike. Then, he would be able to complete his mission and his brother's soul in heaven would be able to rest in peace. He slowly emptied his thoughts and calmed his heart. He focused on the bedroom in the main house and slowly approached along the shadow in the corner. "Who is it?" Suddenly, a clear shout was heard. A snow-white silhouette suddenly appeared outside the main house and blocked the door. Xueling wore a moon-white undergarment. Her bright eyes shone brightly. Her shout instantly broke the silence of the Tianshu courtyard. Meng Jian was about to rush into the bedroom when he heard her shout. Without hesitation, he turned into a shadow and rushed towards the bedroom window. Xueling had always been under Chu Li's intentional training. Her spiritual force was far stronger than the average grandmaster's. Although she did not see the silhouette clearly, she faintly felt that something was wrong. She moved to the window and blocked it with her right hand. Bam! Meng Jian's silhouette swayed like ripples in a lake. Xueling flew backward. When she saw the shadow clearly, she could not care less about her internal organs. She shouted, "There's an assassin!" Meng Jian once again reverted to his shadow form. He was furious. This little girl had ruined his plans. His body swayed, and he silently approached Xueling. Without a sound, he struck her with his palm. He had decided to kill this talkative little girl, first to relieve the hatred in his heart. If he couldn't kill Co Shi tonight, then he would do it tomorrow night. She wouldn't be able to escape anyway, so it was impossible for her to hide outside the imperial residence. Xueling's delicate body moved to the side, barely avoiding the palm. "Oomph." Meng Jian frowned, his murderous intent surging. This little girl could actually sense him. He had to get rid of her. He was surprised that a mere innate master could see through his phantom technique. His anger surged, and his killing intent intensified. He was determined to kill her. Once again, Xueling moved sideways to avoid another palm strike. To outsiders, Meng Jian's attack looked like a palm energy that appeared out of thin air. It was abrupt and strange, like a ghost, sending chills down their spines. Lu Xing and the other two were the fastest and had already floated to the courtyard. They saw that Xueling was avoiding the palm energy and knew that she had some special skills. Lu Xing quickly said, "You two go and guard the princess door. I'll help Miss Xueling." As he finished speaking, he crouched down and picked up a few petals from the ground, throwing them towards Xueling's direction. The petals shot towards Xueling like arrows. When they were 1 meter away from Xueling, the petals suddenly met with an obstacle. Lu Xing's body was like a stream of light, appearing in front of Xueling in a flash. His fist was like a meteor striking towards Meng Jian. Bam! Lu Xing took a step back. Meng Jian was also stunned and frowned. This guy had such a cultivation level at such a young age. Could he be from one of the 4 major sects? But it did not seem like it. Lu Xing thought to himself that this assassin was difficult to deal with. He could only fight with his life on the line. Xueling was not only the princess maid, but also the head chief's maid. She was deeply loved by the head chief. If anything were to happen to her, he would not have a good ending. He looked around, but found nothing. He could not see anything. He was a grandmaster with sharp senses. However, he could only sense danger to himself and foresee it. He could not sense danger to others. Xueling spat out a mouthful of blood, and her face became paler. "Miss Xueling, are you all right?" Lu Xing hurriedly asked. Xueling shook her head. "Guard the lady carefully," Lu Xing said. "With the 2 of them here, he won't be able to enter." Xueling suddenly dodged to the side. Her face was grazed by a palm, and a long gash appeared on her fair and tender face. Blood gushed out like a fountain. She pushed out her palm, and with a bam, she flew out again. In midair, she waved her palm again. Bam! Her body flew out faster and spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. She hit the wall heavily and was almost embedded in the wall, unable to move. Lu Xing was furious and shouted, "Coward, hiding your head but showing your tail. Come out if you have the guts. Don't ambush me." Bam! Xiang Feishue, who was guarding outside the bedroom window, was sent flying. Lu Xing hurriedly shouted, "Be careful, princess!" Bam! A muffled sound was heard, and a white shadow flashed by. There seemed to be a shadow outside the window, swaying twice, like ripples on water. Lu Yurong appeared outside the bedroom window in a moon-white gown. Her face was covered by a white veil, and her gown and robe were fluttering. Her eyes were as clear as the autumn waters. Is this the phantom skill of the Amethyst Mountain? Lu Yurong retracted her palm and stood with her hands behind her back. Her white gown fluttered like a fairy under the moon. Why is it you? Isn't Lady Lu their enemy? Meng Jian's figure appeared out of thin air and frowned. Lu Yurong said lightly, "Young Master Meng, you want to assassinate Xiao Shi. Have you thought about the consequences? Kill her and avenge my brother. Even if she is the princess, she still has to die." Meng Jian scoffed coldly. As expected of a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. "You talk big." Lu Yurong shook her head. "You can't kill Xiao Shi. Moreover, if you really did kill her, would Chu Li forgive you? So what?" Meng Jian scoffed in disdain. "I'm not my brother. If he dares to kill me, he will have to face the endless pursuit of the Amethyst Mountain. I don't think he has the guts. With me here, you better back off." Lu Yurong sighed to herself. Another idiot. He thought that just by relying on the name of the Amethyst Mountain, he would be unimpeded and everything would be fine. Meng Jian's martial arts was not bad. He had a good demeanor and was also a little scheming. Unfortunately, his personality was stubborn and impulsive. His actions were easily affected by his emotions. If it was someone else with more sense, they would not have tangled with Xue Ling. Killing Xiao Shi was the priority. However, he was controlled by his anger and went against Xue Ling. More importantly, he was not good at controlling his anger. If he met someone like Chu Li, he would definitely be finished. "Lady Lu, you want to help Chu Li?" Meng Jian asked coldly. "Yes." Lu Yurong nodded. Meng Jian's handsome face was filled with anger. He dispelled the phantom skill and showed himself because he admired Lu Yurong. He liked her the moment he saw her. What he liked was not her looks, but her unique aura. She was like a magnet that attracted him. He wanted to embrace her and make her his. Hearing that Lu Yurong wanted to help Chu Li, Meng Jian was jealous and angry. "Why are you helping him?" "Nothing," Lu Yurong said lightly. She could not possibly say that she wanted Chu Li to owe her a favor in exchange. Meng Jian laughed coldly. "All right, you chose your own path. Don't blame me for being heartless." His love and possessiveness suddenly turned into hatred and a desire to destroy. Since he could not have her, then Chu Li should not even think about having her. Rumble. There seemed to be a faint sound of thunder in the night sky. The sound was so weak that it was almost ignored. If it were not for Lu Yurong's sharper senses, she would not have heard the faint rumble of thunder. Meng Jian turned into a flash of light and instantly appeared in front of Lu Yurong. He pressed his palm down. Chapter 459. She took a step back lightly. A ray of light fell from the sky and landed on her. Her face was like white jade, and her body emitted a warm glow. The smell of smoke and fire immediately faded, and her white robe fluttered like a fairy. Meng Jian caught up with her, his palm glowing with a purple glow. Lu Yurong's limpid eyes became emotionless, calm, and cold. She looked at him as if she was looking at an inanimate object. Her hand that looked like it was carved out of white jade gently moved forward. Rumble! A muffled sound rang out like a spring thunder. Everyone was stunned. Lu Yurong calmly stood on the spot. Her white robe fluttered as if she was standing in the wind. Meng Jian, however, slammed into the wall with a bang. There was blood at the corner of his mouth. He looked at Lu Yurong in disbelief. His eyes were wide open, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. He never thought that Lu Yurong would be able to block this attack of his. This was the Shadow Thunder Palm. Using the human body as heaven and earth, it contained the thunder of heaven and earth within the body. Thunder and yang were strong and powerful, able to destroy everything. If this palm of his landed, there was no chance of survival for the human body. Lu Yurong calmly glanced at him and immediately appeared in front of him. Her white, jade-like hand pressed forward again. Meng Jian suddenly flashed and disappeared from the wall again. Lu Yurong's palm hit thin air. She glanced at him and scoffed. "You're asking for it." TSS. A flash of lightning flew like a meteor and instantly drilled into the wall. Meng Jian's figure suddenly appeared. He clutched the left side of his chest. There was a flying dagger in his chest. He stared at Chu Li, who was floating down. Chu Li's white robe fluttered as he nodded at Lu Yurong. He looked at Xue Ling, who was embedded in the wall, unmoving and unconscious. There was a gash on Xue Ling's face. Her face was as white as paper, and her brows were furrowed. Even though she was unconscious, she still felt pain. Seeing this, Chu Li's murderous intent surged. He said, "Meng Jian, you are Chu Li." Meng Jian stared at him coldly and looked at Lu Yurong. Lu Yurong was looking at Chu Li. In Meng Jian's eyes, Lu Yurong was looking at Chu Li lovingly. His heart was filled with jealousy. He gritted his teeth and scoffed. "I am Meng Ji's brother, Meng Jian." Chu Li looked at him calmly. "I don't care who you are. Since you came to Tianshu courtyard to assassinate me, you must die." With a flick of his hand, another beam of light shot out. Chi! Meng Jian was unable to dodge at such a short distance. His body swayed and seemed to become a little more ethereal, turning into a shadow. The flying knife pierced through the shadow with a splash of blood. Meng Jian disappeared once again, merging with the shadows. Chu Li sighed to himself. This secret skill of his was indeed strange. It could turn one's body into an intangible form. It was miraculous and beyond the imagination of ordinary people. 2 more flying daggers appeared in his hands, and he threw them out. Chi! Swoosh! 2 flying daggers hit Meng Jian. Meng Jian gritted his teeth and left the courtyard without a word, disappearing into the night. Chu Li ignored him. He helped Xue Ling down and fed her a pill. Spiritual energy from all directions seeped into Xue Ling's body, healing her injuries. Soon, Xue Ling woke up. Xiao opened the door. Her beautiful face was cold. Her limpid eyes scanned the courtyard. Why is it so lively? She had woken up a long time ago and was moved to his courtyard by Chu Li. She had just returned. Chu Li said, "My lady, you should go back first. There's nothing here." Xiao glared at him and looked at Xue Ling. "Is Xue Ling all right?" Chu Li replied, "Her injuries are not serious. She will recover in a few days." Xiao frowned. She knew how powerful Chu Li's healing abilities were. It would take a few days to recover. It seemed that Xue Ling's injuries were serious. Xiao looked at Lu Yurong. "You came too." Lu Yurong said, "I didn't expect this Meng Jian to have some real skills. Your injuries need to be treated soon too. That palm of his is not small." Chu Li said, I'll make a move first." Lu Yurong nodded. She fluttered up and flew back to the Moon Palace like a fairy under the moonlight. "Head Chief, should we go after them?" Lu Xing asked. Chu Li shook his head. "There's no need. Everyone, go back to your own business." "Yes." Lu Xing and the other 2 tactfully said their goodbyes and returned to their original positions. Chu Li carried Xue Ling into the house and placed her on the low couch. Xiao frowned. "Is she really all right? The wound on her face will probably disfigure her." Chu Li took out a porcelain bottle. "Apply this ointment on her. The scar will be gone in 2 days. Let her rest first. She will be fine in 2 days. I'm going out for a while." "Are you going to kill Meng Jian?" Xiao asked. Chu Li nodded. "This guy is a scourge. We have to get rid of him, or else he will come to assassinate us at any time. It will be impossible to guard against him. If he and Xue Ling were not here this time, Meng Jian would have succeeded." Thinking of this, he felt a lingering fear. The Amethyst Mountain's secret technique was strange and shocking. It was a secret technique for assassination. It was not difficult to even assassinate a grandmaster. Lu Xing and the others were not just decorations. If it was not for this secret technique, how could they not have felt it? It was no wonder Meng Jian was so arrogant. He is a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. If we really kill him, there will be endless trouble. Xiao frowned, her beautiful face showing a hint of worry. Chu Li smiled. This secret technique is suitable for use at night. It won't work in the day. Don't worry, he can't kill me. You. First it was the Holy Church of Light. Now it's the Amethyst Mountain. Co. Sure shook her head. His ability to stir up trouble was unparalleled. He had provoked almost all 4 major sections. If he really killed Meng Jian, the Amethyst Mountain would not let it go. Chu Li smiled. If we don't get rid of this person, we will never have peace. There's no other way but to kill him. I'll go first. Up to you. Co. Sure knew that persuading him was useless. Moreover, what he said made sense. If he really let Meng Jian go, he would not be grateful. Instead, he would try to assassinate him even more. He might be able to avoid it once, but he might not be able to avoid it twice or thrice. He would never let go of the hatred of his brother's murder. He would not rest until he was dead. Rather than dying, it was better for him to die. Lu Yurong floated like a fairy. She stepped lightly on the rooftops. The moonlight shone on her body. Her gentle glow became brighter and clearer. Her entire person seemed to be carved out of white jade. She suddenly stopped on a rooftop. She stepped on the green-tiled house and looked forward. Meng Jian was covered in blood. His face was pale, but his expression was calm. He stood 10 meters away and looked at her quietly. Lu Yurong frowned. You want to kill me? Yes. Lady Lu, I like you very much. Meng Jian said slowly. Lu Yurong smiled. She only felt disgust towards Meng Jian. She did not like men at all. But you like Chu Li. That's why I can only destroy you. Meng Jian sighed. I like Chu Li. Lu Yurong laughed. Her face darkened, and she said coldly, Destroy me? Based on your palm technique, just now? Shadow, thunder palm. Accumulating the power of thunder, tempering the body, and transforming it into palm energy. My cultivation level is not high enough. I can only use 3 palm strikes a day. The remaining 2 palm strikes are enough to kill you. Unfortunately, this was originally prepared for Chu Li. Chapter 460. Very well, I'll kill both of you at the same time. Meng Jian nodded slowly. His aura gradually rose like a mountain, rising higher and higher, his oppressive aura becoming stronger. Chu Li smiled. You talk big. You want to kill both of us? Don't you think about whether you can escape with your life? You dare to kill me? If you kill me, all the disciples of the Amethyst Mountain will come after you. Meng Jian said calmly. You don't have to worry about that, Chu Li said. Meng Jian said slowly. Chu Li, you dragged Lady Lu down? I didn't want to kill her at first. I wanted to kill Princess Co. What a pity, what a pity. The one I liked just had to like someone else. I can only fulfill your wish. As soon as he finished, he turned into a shadow again and merged with his surroundings. Like a drop of water falling into a lake, he disappeared. Chu Li turned to look at Lu Yurong. Are we not going to kill this guy? We can only kill him. Lu Yurong sighed. Chu Li smiled. I have to thank you this time. Lu Yurong rolled her eyes. We're even now. She originally wanted to save Co. Sure's life and make Chu Li owe her a favor. Now, the favor was written off and Chu Li saved her life. Meng Jian's Shadow Thunder Palm was indeed powerful. She still could not get rid of it. If she took another 2 palm strikes, she would be in grave danger. Bam! Chu Li suddenly punched the void and made a dull sound. Meng Jian's figure appeared and was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in the air. Meng Jian's body movement technique was useless in front of Chu Li. In his eyes, Meng Jian, who used his secret skill, only emitted an invisible force that merged with the void. Chu Li was most familiar with the wonders of the void. Although Meng Jian's skill was exquisite, it would be better if he was more proficient. With such a shallow level of proficiency, it was no different from showing off in front of an expert. After Meng Jian landed, he clutched his chest and coughed. He frowned at Chu Li. Chu Li said, Your secret skill is not perfect. You should change it. The martial arts of the Amethyst Mountain are exquisite. I'm sure this is not the only one. All right, Chu Li, you do have some skills. Then have a taste of my Shadow Thunder Palm. Meng Jian inhaled slowly. A faint sound of thunder could be faintly heard in the sky. Meng Jian raised his right palm, and with a flash, he appeared in front of Chu Li like a bolt of lightning and pressed his palm down. Bam! Chu Li countered with high Duke Lu's fist technique. A strange aura drilled into his body, and his body immediately became numb and stiff as if he had been struck by lightning. As his palm struck, Meng Jian laughed heartily. Seeing that Chu Li was stiff and unable to move, Meng Jian laughed out loud. No matter how powerful you are, once you get hit by the Shadow Thunder Palm, you won't be able to escape unscathed. You know how powerful the Shadow Thunder Palm is, but you still want to take it head on. I can only say that you are unbelievably stupid. Arrogant people are bound to be stupid. Haha, this feels great. Chu Li let out a smile. The appearance of the heavenly demonic aura puppet swept away the strange aura and returned it to his chest. Meng Jian looked at Lu Yurong, looked at her bright eyes, and sighed. Miss Lu, can you take off your veil and let me see your true face? Lu Yurong said lightly, I can't. Why bother? If I don't see it now, I can still see it after I kill you. Meng Jian shook his head and sighed. Do you really think that the Shadow Thunder Palm can kill him? Lu Yurong laughed. Killing him is as easy as flipping my hand. I don't know what kind of secret technique you have, Miss Lu, but no one can neutralize the Shadow Thunder Palm. This is the secret antique study of the Amethyst Mountain. Today, I'll let you all die together. I'll consider that as fulfilling your wishes, right? Lu Yurong shook her head, showing a sympathetic expression. Sigh, it is indeed a good palm technique. Chu Li opened his mouth to speak. This time, he clearly saw the route of Meng Jian's channeling, and it was indeed strange. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have been able to create such a miraculous technique. The wisdom of the predecessors was high. Every time he saw the martial arts of the four major sects, he would be in awe and sigh at his inferiority. However, he had been struck by divine thunder several times, and his body was no stranger to lightning. Meng Jian's Shadow Thunder Palm was not at a high enough level and could not do anything to him. You. Meng Jian's laughter stopped abruptly. Chu Li said, There's another palm? Bring it on. Bang! Meng Jian turned into a flash of lightning. With a speed that surpassed the imagination of ordinary people, he hit Chu Li in an instant. Chu Li did not take a step back. With a slight shake of his shoulder, Meng Jian was instantly sent flying. Chu Li appeared behind Meng Jian and pressed his palm on his back. Meng Jian flew out like a stone thrown by a catapult. Chu Li once again appeared in the air, waiting in the direction Meng Jian flew to, and was about to finish him off with one palm. About Buddha. A Buddhist chant traveled far into the night sky. Fa Yuan and Fa Xiang rushed over from afar, their monk robes fluttering as if they were riding the wind. In one breath, they were still very far away. In the next breath, the two of them were already in front of Chu Li and Meng Jian. Fa Xiang caught Meng Jian and neutralized Chu Li's palm energy. However, Meng Jian spat out another arrow of blood. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and bowed. Almsgiver Chu, I pay my respects. Fa Yuan glanced at Meng Jian and shook his head as he laughed. Fa Yuan, since when did the Tempest Temple have such a harmonious relationship with the Amethyst Mountain? Almsgiver Meng and my junior brother are friends. My junior brother entrusted me to come and save you. Almsgiver Chu, I hope that you will show mercy. Fa Yuan smiled. Chu Li said, Fa Yuan, you can save him now, but not forever. He will still come to die. Fa Yuan looked at Meng Jian calmly. Meng Jian clenched his teeth and said slowly, Thank you, great master Fa Yuan. He killed my younger brother. I must avenge him. About Buddha. Almsgiver Meng, you are no match for Almsgiver Chu. Fa Yuan chanted and sighed. I will never let him go, scoffed Meng Jian. Chu Li laughed. Look, this guy is very arrogant, and he's proficient in the art of assassination. I'm not afraid of him, but Lady Xiao is precious. How can she take such a risk? He almost succeeded tonight. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and said, Almsgiver Chu, why don't we stop for tonight and settle our scores in the future? Chu smiled. Fa Yuan, he will run back to the Amethyst Mountain after tonight. Do I have to go up there to kill him? In the future, when his martial arts improves, he will come to assassinate Lady Xiao. If anything happens to Lady Xiao, will you be responsible? Fa Yuan sighed. Looks like I will have to experience almsgiver Chu's skills. You should have said so earlier. Chu smiled. But with just the two of you, I'm afraid you won't be able to stop us from killing him. There's still Lady Lu. Lu Yurong smiled. Forget about me. Since Great Master Fa Yuan and Great Master Fa Xiang are here, I have to show them some respect. I'll make a move first. She fluttered away in the moonlight and disappeared into the night in the blink of an eye. Chu shook his head and laughed. Although the omniscient mirror could not see through Lu Yurong's thoughts, he could guess that this would be the result. He glanced at Meng Jian. Forget it. Looks like I can't kill you. A disciple of the Amethyst Mountain has to be saved by a disciple of the Tempest Temple. If this news were to spread, the reputation of the Amethyst Mountain would be ruined because of you. Meng Jian's face was flushed and his eyes were burning. He wanted nothing more than to rush forward and kill Chu. Chu said, Fa Yuan, good move. Not only did you cripple His Royal Highness Azura power technique, you also taught him a secret Buddhist technique. I'm impressed. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and said, Please forgive me, almsgiver Chu. Chu waved his hand. I hope your wishes come true. Farewell. Chapter 461. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and watched as Chu gradually disappeared. His robes fluttered as he heaved a long sigh. Fa Xiang smiled. Junior brother Fa Yuan, why are you so afraid of him? Fa Yuan smiled, but did not say anything. Fa Xiang said, Almsgiver Chu's name is out there, and he has failed to kill him several times. He is indeed a dragon among men, but junior brother Fa Yuan, your martial arts skills are superb, so you should not be afraid of him. Fa Yuan smiled and said, Brother Fa Xiang, I haven't personally experienced his prowess, so I can't describe it. Let's save almsgiver Meng first. All right. Fa Xiang laughed and said, This time Meng Shizhu has provoked two great masters. To be able to escape with his life is indeed a fortunate thing. If we were one step later, I'm afraid he would not be in this world anymore. His good fortune is really profound. Fa Yuan shook his head and said nothing. It was still too early to say that Meng Jian had escaped with his life. They could save him once, but they could not save him the next time. Based on his understanding of Chu, he would not let it go just like that. If he wanted to kill Chu, he would kill the other party first. Meng Jian had a grudge against him for killing his brother and was proficient in the art of assassination. He was a great threat to Co. Shi, and Chu would never let him go, even if he was a disciple of the Amethyst Mountain. When Chu was in the High Duke's public house, he was not afraid of the four major sects and was extremely daring. Otherwise, he would not have offended the Tempest Temple and was hunted down by himself. Chu would definitely kill Meng Jian. Junior brother Fa Yuan, what's wrong? Are you really scared by almsgiver Chu? Fa Xiang saw that he was troubled and chuckled. Fa Yuan said, Brother Fa Xiang, if we want to save almsgiver Meng, we need to follow him at all times. There's no need for that. Fa Xiang smiled and said, Let the people from Amethyst Mountain come over. If two more people from Amethyst Mountain come, I don't believe that almsgiver Chu can really kill almsgiver Meng. Or we could send him back to Amethyst Mountain first. This is a good method. Fa Yuan nodded slowly. Since we've saved almsgiver Meng, we should send him back to Amethyst Mountain. But I'm afraid almsgiver Meng isn't willing and wants to continue his revenge. Meng Jian had been listening at the side and said, Thank you, great masters. Fa Yuan looked at him in surprise. Meng Jian said, I'm not stupid. If I can't get my revenge, I'll find someone to help me. Then, almsgiver Meng, are you going to greet your fellow disciples, or should we send you back to Amethyst Mountain? Fa Yuan asked. I will ask Senior for help. Meng Jian said fiercely. Fa Yuan pressed his palms together and bowed. Very well. However, he somewhat looked down on Meng Jian. If Meng Jian had immediately returned to the Amethyst Mountain and trained hard on his own so that he could personally avenge his brother in the future, even though he did not approve of it, Chu Li still admired Meng Jian. He did not expect Meng Jian to directly seek help from a fellow disciple. His temperament was not pure enough. Although such a person was talented, his achievements were limited. It would be difficult for him to achieve great things. Even if he stepped into the Grandmaster's boundary, it would be difficult for him to become a top-notch master. Without a brave and diligent heart, one would slack off after entering the realm beyond heaven. The Grandmaster's boundary was only the starting point for those who were truly pursuing the ultimate boundary of martial arts. The distance to the enlightened master's boundary was far beyond their reach. Compared to this, going from the foundation building to the Grandmaster's boundary was only a small step. Only by stepping into the Grandmaster's boundary would one truly begin their journey. It was obvious that Meng Jian was the kind of person who only sought comfort and did not seek to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. He was not the same kind of person as Chu Li and himself. Fa Xiang smiled and said, "May I know which fellow disciple are you looking for? My senior brother Zhang is a high official in the Imperial House. Killing Chu Li will be a piece of cake." Meng Jian said lightly, "A high official in the Imperial House. That's good. His position is transcendent. However, grudges should never end. If you can resolve it, then resolve it. Letting go is the only way to be free. If you kill too much, there will be retribution." Fa Xiang smiled. "Yes, thank you for your advice, great master." Meng Jian pressed his palms together and smiled. However, he did not agree. He did not believe in the karma of Buddhism at all. Chu Li returned to the Tianshu courtyard. Xiao Shi was standing in the courtyard in a daze. In the house, Yang Su was taking care of Shui Ling. Seeing him return, Xiao Shi let out a sigh of relief. "Did you kill him?" Chu Li shook his head. Xiao Shi's eyes wandered. A disciple of the Amethyst Mountain is not that easy to kill. There must be a secret technique, right? Fa Yuan and Fa Xiang saved him. The Tempest Temple and the Amethyst Mountain are together. "How interesting," said Chu Li. Xiao Shi muttered. "Logically speaking, it shouldn't be." She understood the grudges between the four major sects very well. People of different paths could not work together. The four major sects each followed their own path. Even if the Titanium Temple and the Tempest Temple were both Buddhists, they did not cultivate the same dharmic base. Chu Li said, "It should be a personal friendship. It doesn't matter if I kill him or not. He wants to find High Official Zhang Ci from the Imperial House to kill him." High Official Zhang Ci from the Imperial House. Chu Li shook his head. How shameless of him. It's a wise move. He knows where he stands. No matter how long he cultivates back in a mountain, he won't be able to catch up to me. It's better to find someone to help him. Then you want to kill him before he finds the High Official. Yes. With the people from the Tempest Temple protecting him, will it work? That will depend on my abilities. I'll have to find someone to help me. Chu Li smiled. Lu Yuron? I can only find her. She can distract Fa Yuan's attention. I'll make my move. Chu Li nodded. Xiao Shi shook her head. Will she agree? She probably doesn't want to get involved in this trouble. Then you're underestimating her courage. Chu Li smiled. Since Lu Yuron was involved in this matter, she was not afraid of the Amethyst Mountain. She must have something to rely on. In any case, as long as the conditions were sufficient, she would agree to help. Moreover, she only needed to distract the two monks. Meng Jian's death was not necessarily related to her. If she was an ordinary person, the Amethyst Mountain would just kill her. However, her identity was not to be trifled with. The Amethyst Mountain would most likely feign ignorance. The Amethyst Mountain might not want to go against the two High Dukes' public houses or even the imperial residence. The Mercy Temple outside the fairies' capital shone with golden light. It was magnificent. Early in the morning, the entire Mercy Temple was bathed in fragrance. The morning bell rang 3 times, accompanied by the chanting of scriptures. The sound drifted far, and the entire Mercy Temple was shrouded in solemnity and holiness. In a courtyard behind the Mercy Temple, Meng Jian was slowly moving his stiff body. The feeling of weakness still lingered in his heart. His body could not move vigorously. After using the Shadow Thunder Palm 3 times, his entire body's energy was depleted. He would need a month to completely recover. He was in the Mercy Temple. Even if he did not believe in Buddhism, listening to the ringing of the morning bell and the chanting of scriptures, he could not help but feel at peace. He had already sent a letter to Zhang Xiai, the Imperial House High Official. He only needed to wait for news. When his senior received the news and rushed over, he would be completely safe. Meng Jian, are you feeling better? The little monk, Fa Wu, entered the courtyard and smiled. I'm doing fine. I didn't think you would save me. Fa Wu. Meng Jian smiled. Our martial arts are similar. Sparring is the best way to improve. Naturally, I can't let you die. If you were to die, where else would I find such an opponent? Fa Wu smiled. That's true. Meng Jian smiled. Fa Wu said, I've seen almsgiver choose martial arts. How is it? Meng Jian's smile faded and his face darkened. Fa Wu said, is he really that powerful? Meng Jian nodded slowly. I want to cultivate well. One day I will catch up to him. Fa Wu scoffed. I want to defeat him completely. Meng Jian looked at him and smiled. He felt that Fa Wu would never be able to defeat the person with the surname Chu. This person with the surname Chu was too powerful. Chapter 462. Meng Jian quivered. The voice was so beautiful, and he remembered it so well. He knew who it was the moment he heard it. It was Lu Yurong. His expression darkened, and his handsome face became ferocious. The woman he liked actually helped Chu Li and betrayed him. Her death was not to be regretted. What was more hateful was that his injuries were caused by her. If she did not help him, he would not be in such a sorry state. Fa Wu turned to look at Meng Jian and asked softly, Almsgiver Meng, who is this? Lu Yurong. Meng Jian said through gritted teeth. Lu Yurong. Could it be the lady of the Ren public house? Fa Wu frowned and thought. That's her. Beautiful as a flower, but vicious as a snake. Meng Jian laughed coldly. Has almsgiver Meng seen her face? I heard that she rarely shows her face. Not many people have seen what she looks like. Is she really that beautiful? Fa Wu asked. You're a monk and you still care if she's beautiful or not. What dharma are you cultivating? Meng Jian stared at him coldly. Ba. Thank you for your guidance, almsgiver Meng. I was too obsessed. Fa Wu quickly bowed with pressed palms. Meng Jian stared at him in disdain. These monks were so annoying. They went against human nature. It was a man's nature to like beautiful women, but these monks just had to have a beautiful skeleton. They forced themselves to imagine it as bones and dirty flesh. How unappetizing. Ba. Almsgiver Lu has graced us with your presence. I apologize for not going out to greet you. Fa Yuan's voice rang in the air. I heard that your spear finger strike is exquisite. I'm here to experience it. Lu Yurong's cold voice echoed in the air. Almsgiver Lu is too kind. If almsgiver Lu has nothing else, please do not disturb the morning classes. I will go over immediately. Fa Yuan's voice moved slowly, calm, and composed. Very well, then let's go somewhere else. Lu Yurong's voice rang. Ba. Fa Yuan's voice faded away. Fa Wu's face was filled with envy. He sighed. This almsgiver Lu's cultivation level is so high that brother Fa Yuan values her so much. A pair of adulterers. Meng Jian said coldly. Which adulterers? A voice suddenly rang behind him. Fa Wu's eyes widened as he watched Chu Li appear out of thin air and land behind Meng Jian. All the hairs on Meng Jian's body stood up. His sapphire blue robe instantly puffed up and stuck to his body. Rumble. A muffled sound came from the sky. Good, there's still one more. Chu Li smiled and slammed his palm down. He did not think that Meng Jian still had a Shadow Thunder Palm that he had not used. He was quite a schemer. Bang! Their palms collided. Chu Li's movements stiffened for a moment before returning to normal. Before Fa Wu could rush over, Chu Li's palm landed on Meng Jian's chest. Swoosh! Blood spurted out from Meng Jian's body. Blood spurted out of his mouth and the wound from the flying knife at the same time. It was like a leaky kettle, spraying water everywhere. When Meng Jian unleashed the Shadow Thunder Palm, all of his internal organs had been emptied out. Now that he was hit by the palm, it was a solid hit. His internal organs were immediately crushed into mush. Only his skin remained unscathed. He had really become a bag of flesh. Chu Li glanced at F.A. Wu and smiled. Sorry to disturb you. He disappeared in a flash, vanishing like a swan. F.A. Wu originally wanted to make a move, but he had only made it halfway when everything was sealed. Chu Li had disappeared. Give her Meng. F.A. Wu hurriedly helped Meng Jian up and channeled his inner energy to help him heal. Once his inner energy entered, he gave up dejectedly and looked at Meng Jian with pity. Meng Jian's face turned green as if there was a layer of black gas floating around. He glared at F.A. Wu with his eyes wide open. Let senior brother avenge me. Avenge me. F.A. Wu sighed. Almsgiver Meng, I will help you redeem your soul. You, damn monk. Meng Jian's eyes widened. His body trembled, and he breathed his last. Ba. F.A. Wu put Meng Jian down and pressed his palms together. He lowered his head and chanted. F.A. Xiang floated over, and his expression changed. F.A. Wu, Almsgiver Meng senior brother F.A. Xiang. Almsgiver Meng is dead. Ba, who did it? Almsgiver Chu. Well done, Chu Li. F.A. Xiang sighed. Under their protection, Chu Li arrived calmly and left without a trace after killing. He treated the Tempest Temple as if they were nothing. As expected of Chu Li, F.A. Wu finished chanting and raised his head to look at him. Senior brother F.A. Xiang, Almsgiver Chu's martial arts is truly powerful. I am no match for him. Are you hurt? F.A. Xiang asked. F.A. Wu shook his head. He did not seem to have any ill intentions towards me. He even smiled at me. Before I could even reach out, he had already killed Almsgiver Meng. He was really fast. If he wanted to kill me, I would have died with Almsgiver Meng. F.A. Xiang said, It's good that he did not hurt you. Almsgiver Chu is not afraid of the Tempest Temple at all, is he? Yes, his martial arts is outstanding, and he has the High Duke's public house and the imperial residence to rely on. He has no fear towards the Tempest Temple. Ba, senior brother F.A. Xiang, I wish to return to the temple and cultivate in isolation. Very well. F.A. Xiang nodded slowly. He looked over Meng Jian's body and shook his head with a sigh. Even if Meng Jian took the spirit blessing pill, he would only be able to hang on to his last breath. It was impossible for him to come back to life. Almsgiver Meng, it's a pity. F.A. Wu shook his head. Meng Jian's martial arts was similar to his, and he had a similar background. Seeing Meng Jian lose his life because he provoked a strong opponent, F.A. Wu felt pity for him, but at the same time, a desire to work hard. What happened to Meng Jian today could also be his tomorrow. Hence, he had to cultivate desperately to make his martial arts stronger. F.A. Wu cultivated the dermic base, but he was not an eminent monk. He could not see through life and death. He wanted to live a better life and pursue more exquisite martial arts. At this moment, a novice monk ran in. Masters Junior F.A. Xiang, Masters Junior F.A. Wu, there's an almsgiver Zhang outside requesting to see you. He said he came from the imperial house and is looking for almsgiver Meng. F.A. Xiang said slowly, F.A. Wu, stand guard here. I will go welcome almsgiver Zhang. Yes, senior F.A. Xiang, F.A. Wu replied. A slender middle-aged man stood in front of the Mercy Temple. He had a jade-like face and was extraordinarily handsome. He wore a green robe and stood with his hands behind his back. He had a natural and unrestrained demeanor as he looked at the Mercy Temple thoughtfully. The main door of the Mercy Temple suddenly opened. F.A. Xiang pressed his palms together and bowed with a solemn expression. Almsgiver Zhang, I am F.A. Xiang. Please follow me. Greetings, great master, F.A. Xiang. Zhang Ci closed fist saluted. He saw great master F.A. Xiang's solemn expression and felt that something was wrong. As he walked inside, he asked, How is my junior brother's injury? Almsgiver Zhang is late. Almsgiver Meng has just passed away. Fa Xiang shook his head and sighed. Junior brother Meng is dead? His injury is that serious? Zhang Ci frowned. Fa Xiang shook his head. Almsgiver Chu broke into our temple just now. Sigh. Umaba. Chuli. Zhang Ci's face turned cold. Fa Xiang nodded slowly. Chapter 463. Zhang Ci stood beside Meng Jian's corpse, motionless. His face was so dark that it could drip water. Fa Wu and Fa Xiang could feel his anger and murderous intent. Almsgiver Zhang, please restrain your grief. Fa Xiang pressed his palms together and sighed. Almsgiver Meng wanted to avenge his brother, so he went to assassinate Princess Xiao of Prince An's imperial residence. But he was killed by the head chief, Almsgiver Chu. Zhang Ci looked coldly at Fa Xiang. Great master, are you saying that I should be particular about who is right and who is wrong? Is this the way the Tempest Temple does things? Umaba. Fa Xiang helplessly chanted the name of Buddha. The way the four major sects did things was to protect their own dignity. As long as it was their own disciples, it was wrong to injure them and they would retaliate. If they killed their own disciples, they would naturally kill the culprit. Otherwise, anyone would dare to kill their own disciples. Almsgiver Zhang wants to go to the imperial residence of King and Almsgiver Chu's current status. He is a secret guardian of the imperial house, the head chief of the imperial residence of King In. So what? I will take his life with my own hands. An eye for an eye, great master, Zhang Ci interrupted him. Zhang Ci interrupted his words and said indifferently, there's no need to say such things. If it was the Tempest Temple, would you let him live? Almsgiver Chu has also killed disciples of our temple. Although he was a disciple who betrayed the temple, we still let him go in the end. Almsgiver Chu is righteous and should not be killed. Fa Xiang shook his head. Ha! Zhang Ci laughed. Fa Xiang's expression did not change as he smiled at him. Fa Wu bowed with pressed palms. He was not angry. In fact, he was curious as to why the temple's attitude towards Chu Li had changed and they no longer wanted to kill him. On the surface, it was said that Chu Li was righteous and should not be killed. However, he did not believe it. There must be some unknown reason. As a disciple of the Fa generation, he was not qualified to know. Almsgiver Zhang, take care. Do you want to send Almsgiver Meng back to the Amethyst Mountain? No need. Just settle down here. Thank you, great master, Zhang Ci said. Benefactor Meng and junior brother Fa Wu are close friends. There's no need to be so polite. Fa Xiang shook his head and sighed. It's a pity that we can only save him once. We can't save Benefactor Meng a second time. This is fate, the cycle of karma. There's nothing we can do. Zhang Ci snorted. The disciples of Amethyst Mountain did not believe in Buddhism at all. Karma, bullsh asterisk T. Zhang Ci arrived at the imperial residence of King, and his body turned into a shadow and calmly passed through the layers of defense. He circled the entire imperial residence of King and finally arrived at Chu Li's courtyard. He quietly blended into the shadows under the wall. He saw Chu Li and was waiting for the moment when Chu Li let his guard down so that he could kill him in one strike. Chu Li was cultivating the heavenly demonic power in the courtyard. After devouring the inner energy of 3 shadow thunder palms, his heavenly demonic power was showing signs of a breakthrough. The heart of Azura in his chest had been continuously injecting aura into him, but it was directly devoured by the heavenly demonic energy. Unfortunately, the heavenly demonic energy did not seem to like the heart of Azura that much. It seemed that the heart of Azura was not pure enough. Chu Li knew that in order to break through the 3rd level, he would need a purer inner energy, like the inner energy of the Shadow Thunder Palm. At this moment, he noticed Zhang Ci's arrival. Zhang Ci's cultivation level was far from what Meng Jian could compare to. Even 2 Meng Jians could not match up to 1 Zhang Ci. Chu Li estimated that Zhang Ci's cultivation level was 1 level higher than his. No wonder he dared to come directly to the imperial residence of King N. As a high official of the imperial house, his status was extraordinary and he was not afraid of his own identity. He squinted his eyes, and a water ball formed by the heavenly demonic energy suddenly fell into his precordium. Instantly, his blood flowed like a river and an infinite amount of energy spread throughout his body. He took a step forward and struck a shadow with lightning speed. Bang! The shadow swayed like ripples on the surface of the water. Chuli followed up with another punch. Bang, 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 bang. Punch after punch. Both of his fists were like lightning, forming a shadow of his fist that struck the swaying shadow. Zhang Xiai felt as though he had fallen into a raging tsunami. Fists were surging towards him from all directions. Every punch carried the weight of 1,000 caddies and was unstoppable. He could not think and could only block based on his instincts. Every punch was as heavy as a mountain. Even if his inner energy was deeper and purer, in front of this pure power, he was so weak that he could not withstand a single blow. He kept retreating until he hit the wall. Bang! His body hit the wall heavily. The wall seemed to shake and was about to collapse at any time. Zhang Xiai felt his internal organs churning and a bloody stench accumulated in his chest, ready to gush out at any time. He felt extremely aggrieved. His cultivation level was obviously higher than his opponent's, but he was forced back by brute force. When his seemingly shallow power reached a certain level, it became so powerful. What was worse was that he was one step too late in casting his secret skill. His opponent was one step ahead of him, so he could only passively take a beating and did not have the chance to cast his secret skill. Bang! He took another punch and was embedded into the wall. Cracks appeared on the wall. Puffed. Zhang Xiai spat out a mouthful of blood. After taking another punch, he finally activated his secret skill. Rumble, a muffled sound, as if it came from the sky, came from his body. His palms glowed blue and collided with Chu Li's fists. Bang! It was as if a heavy object had landed on the ground. Chu Li trembled and immediately returned to normal. His face showed a hint of joy, and he continued to punch. Zhang Xiai was shocked and angry. This Chu Li could actually block the shadow thunder palm. He did not believe it, and followed up with another 2 shadow thunder palms. Chu Li's body only stiffened for a moment. His hair stood up, and he continued to punch. If not for his hair standing up, Zhang Xiai would have thought that the shadow thunder palm did not hit Chu Li. It did not even freeze his movements. Once hit by the shadow thunder palm, the body would stiffen and be unable to move, allowing him to do whatever he wanted. However, Chu Li only stiffened for a moment, giving Zhang Xiai no time to strike again. After casting the shadow thunder palm, he needed to take a breath. The opportunity to take a breath allowed Chu Li to return to normal. Zhang Xiai could not do anything to him. Rumble. Amidst the muffled sound of thunder, the shadow thunder palm kept hitting Chu Li. Chu Li's hair stood up even straighter, but his body was not affected. He was stiff for a moment before, but after that he did not stop. It was as if he was not receiving the shadow thunder palm, but a normal palm technique. No matter how high Zhang Xi's cultivation level was, he could not withstand the shadow thunder palm. Soon, his face turned pale and a sense of weakness surged into his heart. He desperately cast the shadow thunder palm in a fit of rage, but he suddenly calmed down. The shadow thunder palm consumed a lot of energy. After using it for more than 10 times, his energy was depleted. He would probably need 10 days to recover. Now that the shadow thunder palm could not take down Chu Li, he did not have many chances. Thinking of this, the inner energy in his body continued to circulate according to the heart technique of the shadow thunder palm. However, it did not condense on his palm, but at his feet. Swoosh! His body seemed to have turned into a sharp arrow that pierced through the air. Like a flash of lightning, he instantly disappeared in front of Chu Li. Chu Li's eyebrows twitched. The shadow thunder palm actually had such a magical effect. It was really strange. However, he was not in a hurry to kill Zhang Xiai. Zhang Xi's shadow thunder palm was abnormally pure. He could faintly see the fourth level of the heavenly demonic power. The Shadow Thunder Palm could be said to be a breakthrough opportunity. He could not let it go. It was a pity that Zhang Xi's cultivation level was not deep enough. He could not have endless inner energy like Chu Li. He could not use the Shadow Thunder Palm anymore. Otherwise, he could enter the fourth level of the heavenly demonic power today. It was really a pity. It would be best for Chu Li to wait until Zhang Xi recovered his inner energy. Chapter 464. Chu Li arrived at Tianshu courtyard and entered the house. There was only Co. Shi in the brightly lit house. Yang Su was taking care of Shui Ling in the house next door. Co. Shi was lying on the bed, reading a book. The blanket covered her curves. Her expression was lazy and her face was beautiful. "Did you kill that guy?" Co. Shi put down the book and asked lazily. Chu Li had already guessed that the Imperial House high official would come to assassinate him. He told Co. Shi beforehand. Co. Shi was not worried. She was just curious if Chu Li would kill Zhang Xi. Chu Li shook his head. "I didn't succeed." "Escaped?" Co. Shi was surprised. Chu Li nodded. "The secret skill of the Amethyst Mountain is very powerful. I can't catch up. He's in the Imperial House. I can't go there to kill him. The Emperor might not allow it." He had the all-seeing divine power. Once he used it, he could find Zhang Xi immediately. But Zhang Xi was a high official of the Imperial House. He had always lived in the Imperial House. Even if he found him, he could not barge into the Imperial House to kill him. Fortunately, Zhang Xi did not dare to make a sound. Even if he was a high official, he could not kill a secret guardian of the Imperial House. They both had the words Imperial House in them, but they were not the same. Co. Shi pursed her lips and smiled. "There's someone you can't kill? Do you want to cultivate?" Chu Li asked. Co. Shi was stunned. She shook her head, "No." Chu Li said, "Although I can protect you, there are always accidents. Your own martial arts is the most reliable. The assassination skills of the Amethyst Mountain are hard to defend against. I'm already so old. Cultivating martial arts is a waste of energy." Co. Shi shook her head. "If that's the case, I'd rather not know martial arts. I inherited Lu Yurong's martial arts." Chu Li smiled. "The Empyrean fairy power. Don't you want to cultivate it?" "The Empyrean fairy power," Co. Shi muttered. "I think I've heard of it somewhere. Lu Yurong's martial arts is powerful." Chu Li sighed. "The Empyrean fairy power is indeed a unique study. But there's a disadvantage. She cannot get close to men." Co. Shi was surprised. Chu Li said, "Lu Yurong is surrounded by women. She doesn't get close to men because she cultivated the Empyrean fairy power. There's such a wonderful use." Co. Shi smiled and shook her head. "What would happen if I were to get close to a man?" "I'm afraid that men will lose their lives," Chu Li said. "Extreme heat and extreme cold. Men can't withstand this. In other words, if I cultivate this, you won't be able to stay by my side?" Xiao Shi could not help but laugh. "You want to slack off and go back to little sis, right?" Chu Li glared at her snappily. Co. Shi pursed her lips and smiled. "I think you're up to no good." Chu Li said, "Lady, don't worry, I'll stay here." Co. Shi shook her head. "I don't want to practice." Chu Li looked at her helplessly. "Fine, if you don't want to practice, then don't." Cultivating the Empyrean fairy technique had its pros and cons. Cultivating it would indeed allow one to defend oneself, but it would also change one's temperament. One would become icy cold, not as gentle as they were now. Xiao Shi asked, "Did Lu Yurong really help?" Chu Li smiled. "She won't wake up without benefits. She'll help lure Fa Yuan away, and I'll take the opportunity to kill Meng Jian." "Oh right, that senior from the Amethyst Mountain hasn't come out yet? You'll have to ask third younger sister about this. She contacted this senior. Their assassination skills are very good. You have to be careful," Co. Shi said. "Yes, lady, you have to be careful. Shueling's martial arts is not enough." Chu Li frowned. Shueling was now at the innate mastery's boundary. She was considered an expert in the martial arts world. However, if she was placed beside the imperial residence in Co. Shur, it would seem like her martial arts was not enough. She could only block a few attacks at a crucial moment, but would hurt herself and put herself in danger. How long has she been cultivating? We can't rush it, Co. Shur said. Chu Li nodded slowly. Xueling's accumulation was not enough. It was not realistic for her to break through to the Grandmaster's boundary. He could help Xueling break through to the innate mastery, but the Grandmaster's boundary could not help her break through directly. After perfecting the innate mastery and entering the surpassing state, he had laid a solid foundation for Xueling. Her strong spiritual energy had increased her comprehension. As long as she perfected the innate mastery, she would be able to break through smoothly. Xueling's accumulation was not enough, but Jiang Kuai's was. These few days, he had been thinking about how to help Jiang Kuai find the surpassing state, so that Jiang Kuai could break through in isolated cultivation. Eldest Master's wedding is coming soon. In my opinion, we should leave tonight, Chu Li muttered. Let Xueling and Yang Su go back. We can also avoid the assassins from the Amethyst Mountain. All right, Co. Shur nodded. Early in the morning, Chu Li woke up on his own island. He slept exceptionally well. This island was his real home. It belonged to him completely. The imperial residence of King and was just a guest. He really could not feel any sense of belonging. Xueling had already woken up. She was slowly moving her limbs in the courtyard, cultivating the darking palm. As the darking palm circulated, the extreme yin and extreme cold inner energy circulated. Her injuries were constantly healing, and her control over her body was becoming more and more smooth. Chu Li got up and went to the courtyard, sizing her up. Master, I plan to go into isolated cultivation, said Xueling. The injuries this time had greatly shocked her. It was really embarrassing, and she could not help it all. If it was not for Meng Jian's anger that drove him to attack her, the lady's life would have been in danger. All right, go into isolated cultivation here. When you perfected the innate mastery, I'll send you to the Snow Lunar Pavilion to break through to the Grandmaster's boundary, said Chu Li. Yes, Xueling nodded vigorously. As Chu Li spoke, his expression suddenly changed. Xueling noticed the change in his expression and did not dare to disturb him. Chu Li suddenly disappeared and appeared on the Jade Guardian Island in the next moment. On the stargazing tower of the Jade Guardian Island, a woman in white stood quietly in front of the window, looking down at the vast lake. Her face was white and flawless. Her eyes were clear and cold. Her pupils were like black gems, shining brightly and captivating. Chu Li suddenly appeared. The woman in white seemed to sense him and said, "You're here." Chu Li took a deep breath and suppressed his turbulent thoughts. He said with difficulty, "Why did you come back? Big brother is getting married. I have to come back for a visit. We haven't seen each other for a long time." Xiaoqi slowly turned around and looked at him calmly. Chu Li slowly said, "Long time no see." Xiaoqi's clear eyes were as calm as the lake outside. There was not a single ripple. The High Duke's public house is more prosperous than before. It's all thanks to you. You flatter me, said Chu Li. Xiaoqi turned around and looked at the vast lake again. Chu Li's mind was racing. He could not stop no matter what. He had imagined countless scenarios where the two of them would meet, but he never thought it would be at this moment, like this. In the end, his turbulent thoughts could only be condensed into these two sentences. He came to Xiaoqi's side. He looked at the vast lake and smelled the faint fragrance on her body. Suddenly, he felt his heart was at peace. All the restlessness in his heart had disappeared. The stargazing tower was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Only the gentle breeze could be heard. After a long time, Xiaoqi's clear voice was heard. Big brother's wedding will go smoothly, right? It will. Chu Li nodded. What should be done has been done. The martial arts factions will not dare to cause trouble. The imperial court will not act rashly either. There shouldn't be any problems. That's good. Xiaoqi said softly. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.